Well, we're here. We're live. It's election night in America. Ethan,
Wow.
how are you doing?
You know, I'm thrilled, Devin, because there's only one thing that could possibly happen, and that's that America is about to elect its first black woman president who is friends with Liz Cheney. And it's a historic moment. That's the only thing that's going to happen. So how are you feeling?
I feel good. We're at a little bit of an information deficit.
Yeah.
Because I should make clear to the listeners, we are recording this live from inside the Las Vegas Sphere. So all around us, we're just seeing the inside of the $650 million Kamala ad. And
It's
we are
incredible.
making about $500 million to be here and just kind of keep an eye on things and report on matters. But from what I'm seeing, and I am literally in a sphere where in all directions, all I can see is a Kamala ad, it's
Hmm.
looking like a sure Harris. It's looking like a sure Harris win by my eyes.
Once you've captured the sphere ad space, I mean, it's game over. That's it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's the thing you can say about it, because people are always nickel and diming. There's plenty of money. Money's not real. That's ridiculous. But
yeah.
also, if you can guarantee all of Nevada's electoral votes with this ad, I mean, that's just like, it's just, you got to do it. I think the problem is we need to get more spheres into more swing states because
Yep.
then we could just buy the states,
Yeah.
gobble them
I,
up.
I agree. I mean, you've got Epcot in Florida. Well, that's underutilized, let's be frank.
Absolutely.
Um,
I think that was an okay, that was a campaign. I'm willing to admit that was a campaign oversight. It's a flawless campaign,
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but Epcot could have been utilized a little more.
Yeah. I think we should get a cuboid in Pennsylvania, you
I
know?
think I think that would be great. I think that would be great, and I think it should cost $2 billion a day.
Yeah. Although, frankly, I don't even think Pennsylvania is going to be a swing state. So let's not even worry about that.
Now, I will say, Ethan, I'm saying it's election night in America because that's the last I've heard. But we have been in this sphere for a while, and I am starting to lose my sense of time
Yeah.
and space.
Yeah.
Have you been heard anything from the outside world? Because I'm not getting any signal in here.
I would describe it as eerily silent. Eerily.
Yeah, it is. It is weird how our coconut group chat has kind of. We haven't really gotten any updates there for a while. But
Hmm.
I'm assuming that if the election was over, they would have come and relieved us of our duties here,
Yeah.
keeping an eye on the ad.
Yeah. I mean, it's because otherwise we're racking up the tab. I mean, if they don't get us, at this point, the campaign could even be in debt, which is insane to think because,
Yeah, I mean,
the Harris
they have
campaign
so
is,
much. They have so much money. I
there's
don't
no,
think
yeah,
that's
it's
going to
true.
happen.
I don't think that's
Yeah,
an
I
issue.
don't.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm just excited. It's a new era.
Yeah, yeah. I have been having trouble sleeping at night, given that U2 keeps playing. But
Yeah.
you know,
Luckily, we're sleeping in the row that you can't actually see the sphere.
yeah. No,
They
I should
built
be
a
clear. Yeah,
balcony.
yeah. We haven't left because they bought us our tickets, the Kamala campaign, and we have
Hmm.
not left our seats. So we're not really
Yes.
sure what's going on, but we do occasionally hear various kinds of sounds
Yes.
of uncertain provenance, but I think it was you two. It kind
Yep.
of, it
Yeah.
sounded like a very ambivalent position
Yep.
on British colonialism. So that's
We
what.
are the official podcast of the Sphere. We stream live to neilyoungarchive.com.
Yeah, yeah. So if you log on to neilyoungarchive.com, there's 24/7 coverage of what's going on in the two seats from the sphere from which you can't see the stage.
It cost a lot of money, so great.
Well, we don't know. Like, this episode might be taking a while to get to the listeners because, like I said, our phones aren't really working. We're not getting an internet connection. But We look forward to celebrating the Harris victory with all of you once this episode drops. But Ethan, you do have this like fax machine plugged
Yes,
into because there are like just like three-prong plugs in the wall here that
correct.
obstructs our view. And so you
Correct.
have been receiving some communications from the outside world, is my understanding.
Yes, direct from Nate Silver.
Nice, nice. So what is Nate seeing there on the ground? How are the exit polls looking?
He's saying it's 50-50. It could go either way.
Well, that's not what I like to hear. Do you think we should have voted? Was it a
Um,
mistake to be in
I
Nevada
mean,
where
well,
neither of us are
here's
registered
I
for
mean,
this?
here's how I think about it. What are the odds that like nobody actually voted? You know, what are the odds that like millions less
Oh,
people voted than last election? It's not.
that's a great point.
Not
That's a great point.
I'm not worried
You're
about it.
right. Yeah, yeah. Given that it's almost certain some people are going to vote, I don't think it matters if we voted.
Yeah,
I
I
think what
mean, yeah,
matters is that we're here and we're making sure that this ad is is
right.
is is up and it's going.
I think any depression from us not voting will be made up from people who are so enthusiastic about genocide that it's got to make up the difference. So it's fine for them, I'm
Well,
sure.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Ethan. I know this might be a little controversial, but I don't think genocide has anything to do with this election. I think it would be very weird to claim it has anything to do with anything that's happening right now. I think
That
this is about spheres.
that's a good point because that was Harris's closing message. I don't know if you saw the banner behind her with the last Liz Cheney meeting. It said genocide has nothing to do with this election. So I mean that's a banner of confidence. And I have to believe that's true.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna still be in the sphere. You listeners, get out there and make your voice heard. And check us out at neilyoungarchives.com indefinitely. You're tall, but I'm standing in front of you.
It's a podcast.
Welcome to You're Tall, but I'm standing in front of you, the podcast where two friends circling the drain of academia, and boy, is that drain
Ooh,
suddenly bigger and wider than ever. Uh, I'm Devin.
I'm Ethan.
I didn't even say the rest. I just said that we're circling the drain of academia. That's fine. That basically is all we're doing. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, not great.
Yeah, so we did get out of the sphere.
Mhm.
It turned out like we had been in there for much longer than we thought. It was like we came out like Macy's Thanksgiving parade was happening
Yeah.
as we actually kind of went through a time loop somehow or like a space time warp because we kind of had to just cut ourselves out of the sphere because no one was coming to get us.
This plot is
And
getting so complicated.
yeah, yeah, and that seemingly like we like in going through the threshold of the sphere crossed over like into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Charlie Brown balloon. And then we find ourselves inside that and we had to like murder Charlie Brown on live television.
Yeah.
Because I was getting very claustrophobic. Hadn't
Yeah.
seen the sun in like 4 weeks, as it turned out.
Yeah. Well, and because he's a sucker. He's always falling for that Lucy shit. So,
I don't know. It's everyone always brings that up, but I don't see how that's a relevant metaphor to anything. Like it doesn't really feel relevant to our times. Is all I'm saying.
That's a good point.
You know, but so anyway, the Democrats didn't do it. Who could have seen that coming? Um, and the leftist cause remains the unacknowledged way forward, and we live in hell. How So, what better way to deal with that fact than to go back to a very special year? Do you know what year I'm talking about, Ethan? As
I'm
I
the
look it
year
up.
the dawn of a new millennium.
Absolutely. I'm talking about the year 2000. And I'm talking about Gladiator. Not because we watched Gladiator, but because we watched Gladiator 2. And what is watching Gladiator 2 if not watching Gladiator? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, that's literally how the movie begins is with Gladiator. So, fair point.
So it's May of 2000. You're what? Like 12, 13, something like that.
Yeah, 12.
Uh 9/11 hasn't happened yet. George Bush hasn't been elected president,
Oh, good Lord.
right? The hanging
Yeah.
chads are doing fine. No
Yep.
one even knows what they are.
Al
And a
Gore is
little
dancing to You Can Call Me Al.
SNL is doing sketches about how this is one of the least politically consequential presidential elections of all time because there's no difference between the candidates. We live in the end of history and nothing's really going to happen anyway.
Hmm.
And a little movie called Gladiator comes out. Ethan, what was your relationship to the original Gladiator, either like at the time or since?
Uh, I saw it as a 12-year-old boy. I thought it was dope. I memorized like a lot of the lines, over time from that film. Just being. And then I probably didn't watch it for the last 15 years. So um that was what Russell Crowe's big reveal onto
Yeah.
the main stage at least.
It was definitely the first I, as a young person, knew who he was,
Yeah.
right? Because he's been in some movies prior to this. He was in like The Quick and the Dead, presumably some Australian shit, yeah, that I've never heard of. L.A. Confidential was a pretty big one, but I didn't see that at the time. Like
Well, and yeah, and this was also
Tiger right before this, but yeah,
mhm.
Gladiator's really like him becoming like the leading man.
Right. And this was also, I think, my first introduction to Joaquin Phoenix before he was in 2002's Signs.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It was also the first I learned of Joaquin Phoenix. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I gotta be honest, man. I did not fucking like it at the time. I thought it was
But you
stupid.
didn't like Gladiator? I
No.
mean, it is stupid, but at the
Yeah.
time you thought it was stupid?
No, well, it was partially because my dad liked it, and I was just like a
Uh,
contrarian, right? So if my dad liked something, I was like, but I was a very pretentious, like 11-year-old already, and so I was like, oh, this is
yeah.
like dumb masculine stuff, and Ridley Scott is just so weird, but
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But like me, like I'm watching that opening scene, I'm like, yeah, the Romans are taking on the barbarians. Nothing to unpack here. This is just cool.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I definitely didn't have like any kind of sophisticated reason for not liking it. I think I just like
mm,
wasn't into like the big historical epic thing. Like I think I always just kind of found it a little boring. But it
yeah.
was a weirdly immense film for like teaching me in a weird way what I thought mainstream culture was.
Hmm.
Like I feel like this was one of the first films where I was like, "Oh, this guy is the actor and he's winning the best actor Oscar." Like it was one of the earliest instances cuz like what, 99 is the year before, so that must have been the Kevin Spacey year with fucking American Beauty at the Oscars, right?
Yeah, those numbers track. Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely had no idea. I had heard of American Beauty. I had never saw it until much later in life. But
You
Gladiator was the
didn't
first
see that
time that
one
like
with your dad in
no, no.
1999? Oh,
As
yeah.
he takes me to the Hooters after. Um but no, but Gladiator I think was the first time that I was becoming aware like of a mass cultural object
Mm,
in cinema as it was happening. If you know what I mean. Like it was
yeah.
like I saw it when it was in theaters. I knew when Russell Crowe won the Oscar. I knew when it won the Best Picture. And so I was kind of like, okay, this is what like mainstream Orthodox culture is. It's
Oh,
Gladiator.
yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I mean, I feel like for me that was 1996 with Independence Day and Men in Black. I'm like, "Oh, I
Mm.
guess that Will Smith is like the movie star."
Well, so that's true. I mean, I loved those movies as they were coming out, but those movies weren't winning Oscars, right?
That's true. Well,
So
hold
I
up
guess
here.
I'm certainly not acting Oscars, right? Because we know when Will Smith
Yeah.
won his acting Oscar, that was a very notable night for him. Uh, but so like yeah, no, there were like popcorn movies that I was aware
Yeah,
of when they
yeah.
came out, but Gladiator was right this weird confluence of like this is a movie I'm
Mm,
seeing as like an 11, 12-year old and it's also winning the Oscars. So I'm becoming aware of what the Oscars are.
I see.
Um Whereas before the Oscars were always like, oh, the Oscars are doing something, and then I'm going and seeing like The Phantom Menace and Men in Black
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
movies like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is interesting because when you throw like the historical schlop on top of it, it can be a thing that the kids love the film, and also it is Oscar bait at the same time. So that must be a
Yeah.
weird feeling as like a 9-year old being like, "Oh yeah, no, actually, this is cinema. This is modern cinema. This is it." And I
Yeah,
liked
you're
it.
like,
Like me
oh,
as a
this
10
is
year
what
like, and I
Oscar
like
movies
it.
are. When someone
Yeah.
talks about an Oscar bait movie, it means a like grotesque historical epic full of swordplay and killing. But I'll tell you what, there's something that's very classically Oscars about it, and that is that our man Russell Crowe plays a Spaniard. Setting me up for a long tradition of the kinds of performances that Hollywood values, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh wow.
I mean, though to be clear, fuck Spain. Spain is
Oh
bad.
yeah. Yeah, no,
Like
it's
at
one of
least
the
like
bad ones.
like old Spain. What I don't know what they're up to now, but like they did a lot of colonialism. We don't come for Spain, and they also made it so we have to keep going to restaurants and be asked if we've been there before, so they can explain to us what tapas are. And it's like we get it. It's a small plate, you know. Like, come
We
on.
recommend sharing. I'm like, what do you mean? How would I do that at a restaurant? Can you explain this to me again? I don't follow.
If there was a scene in Gladiator
Mm.
where like Russell Crowe takes the other gladiators out for tapas and like they don't understand it and he has to explain, I would give the movie one more star. I would give it an additional star.
There is a meal that's called tapas.
Yeah. But yeah, we all know the story of Gladiator. Marcus Aurelius is killed by his crazy son. That didn't happen, right?
um, I don't know. Maybe. I
I
mean,
don't
many
care.
ways,
I okay. I
perhaps.
should I should be clear about something. Like I definitely had my phase where I like listened to the History of Rome podcast when I was like 16 or whatever. I
Mm,
don't give a shit about the Roman Empire. Like I know this is like a thing, like it's like men think about the Roman Empire or whatever, it's like a meme.
yeah.
I don't care. It was a long time ago. Doesn't have anything to do with me. And it also feels like anyone who's interested in the Roman Empire is just interested in it so they can do like a historical shit about contemporary politics, right? Like that's always the move, right?
Mm-hmm.
It like my dad justifies
Yeah.
voting for Trump by like citing the Roman Empire and how you need like a strong leader. A Marcus Aurelius type.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So I was just looking if yeah, if Marcus Aurelius was killed by his son, but um
Which, speaking of through lines with a film we're going to be talking about later in the episode, but Marcus Aurelius, whose name is said at least three times in Megalopolis.
yes. Very true. Anyhow, it's a really long article. It doesn't need to be that long for Marcus Aurelius.
Seriously.
He
Like,
died at the
can
age of
I?
58 of unknown causes. So now, but we
Yeah,
know
but also,
now
yeah,
because
but can we also say something else? I think
hmm,
at the top of the pod.
Hmm.
Tell me if you disagree, but fuck Marcus Aurelius.
Absolutely. Fuck him. And you know what? I'm going to actually go a step further. Fuck Augustus as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, fuck them all. Fuck them all. But
Wow.
like, could you just gloss like Ethan? Like, what is the Marcus Aurelius vibe? Like, especially like the contemporary Marcus Aurelius, the role he plays in contemporary internet discourse.
Do you want me to genuinely respond to that?
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Is there something specific that you know that I don't know? Because like, is he's just sort of like the people that want to draw a thread between their own shitty personality and like the presumed grandeur of Rome. You
Hmm.
know, you'll see on Twitter they'll have like his statue as their profile picture.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always like he's like the good emperor, right? He's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the stoic. Um, Whenever a guy starts talking to you about Marcus Aurelius, you just need to get out of the conversation as quickly as possible.
This is the
Right?
meditations in particular, like people who,
Yeah,
which you
yeah.
know, like Mark Zuckerberg is
Great books
obsessed with.
bullshit. Makes
Yeah,
complete sense. Yeah, no,
yeah.
he's like self-help for the worst people in the world, right? They read because it's like they don't like it's the people who are even like honestly, the actualizing guys are at least a little more honest about what they're doing. But the Marcus Aurelius dudes are like, no, I'm not gonna read that, but I'm gonna read like this great book of Marcus Aurelius
Fuck
and then learn all
off.
these universal lessons. Like they're not reading it historically, they're not reading it with
Yeah,
any sense of what it's doing ideologically, right? It's just like, it's bullshit. So fuck Marcus Aurelius,
sure.
but Gladiator's like, that is kind of its conceit, right? Marcus Aurelius gets killed, so it's like, oh fuck, right? We had the perfect system as long as no one shitty ever was in charge, as
Hmm.
long as you have the best dude ever always you can have a monarchy, right? And this like cue all the people I heard in fucking high school constantly saying like, well, absolute monarchy is the best form of government assuming you have a great monarch. Like I felt like I was hearing people
What,
say that constantly.
what's what was happening out there? And I shouldn't actually. I have a general idea, but that's just incredible conversations. I'm just imagining the like in the stands during the football game. Oh, bro, I mean, an absolute no, but if you wield the executive power with like attention to universal concepts of justice and
Hmm.
equality, actually, like that is the most efficient and effective form. I'm just imagining this
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Stands, yeah.
Well, and that who within a year of this was actually thinking a lot about questions of how to wield absolute power. Dick fucking Cheney, right?
Yeah, he
In
hadn't thought
his
about it before this that yeah,
he's
but
that's not what I meant,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
this is right on the cusp of us seeing, like the unlimited executive power sort of ideas of the Bush
Yeah.
White House, right?
Yeah.
Um, so sovereignty's on the brain as we turn into the new millennium, and it's like dumb fucking romantic shit. It's like fucking what's his name? Russell Crowe, Maximus. He's like the perfect guy. He just wants to touch wheat. And everyone keeps being like, lead the Roman Empire. You're better than like the syphilitic weirdo who's eventually going to win an Oscar for playing the Joker. Like, we can't have this man in charge of Rome. He thinks crime is funny. You know? Can you
Yeah.
imagine how disturbing that is? Like, crime is bad, and someone like, laughing at it.
Wow.
This guy's in charge of the Roman Empire. And Maximus is kind of like whatever. And then, I don't know. He gets picked up by slavers. He becomes a fucking gladiator. He wins his way to the top. And then, like, stupid plot contrivances happen so that he gets to kill Joaquin Phoenix. But then he also has to die. And then he gets to touch wheat in the afterlife.
Yeah.
But then, Gladiator is this huge success, right? It makes a ton of money. It wins Oscars. It's this kind of you know, crossover hit, as it were. Um, and then there's this weird sort of backstory that we won't get into the minutia of with the possibility of making a sequel. But Ethan, can you remind the listeners what the like one concept that we've talked about before for the sequel was?
Yeah, so if anyone is wondering why are we doing an episode on Gladiator 2 and not like Wicked, it's because we backed ourselves into this corner. Yeah, so we were doing the Alien Romulus and Deadpool Wolverine episode. And we had brought up we stumbled upon the fact that Gladiator 2 was now in production and we were flabbergasted and backed
We
ourselves into
learned
a
it
corner.
live on the pod.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you're not aware, this is like a sneak behind the curtains here. We're mostly just like reading Wikipedia and browsing the internet as we record these episodes. Sometimes Devin is
I'm
tweeting
checking
as
Sixer
we're
scores.
yeah, yeah. Oh, but it's very serious. That is
Yeah.
what we are doing when we do this. And yeah, and so Gladiator 2 had gone through kind of development hell, but the funniest and what we had sort of hoped would be what the actual plot would end up being, which like actually kind of disappointingly is not the plot, is Nick Cave was commissioned to write a draft of a script that was the title of which was Christ Killer, and it
What?
involved it involved Maximus in purgatory, and then he's resurrected by Roman gods. He goes back to Earth, and he's tasked with ending Christianity by killing Jesus. He fights in the Crusades, in World War II, in the Vietnam War, and then he goes to the present day where he's at the Pentagon. And it was scrapped after I'm reading here. Steven Spielberg, who had consulted on the original film, told Scott that it wasn't going to work.
Oh, well, thank
So
God. Man, fuck Steven Spielberg.
yeah, he
Like,
really man, fuck that guy.
ugh, God. Also, man, what an L to be like, oh, I got to get rid of Christianity. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kill Jesus. Like, I'm gonna literally create the conditions of Christianity. Man,
Yeah, yeah. So
that fucking
unfortunately,
rules. And unfortunately, we're never gonna get
yeah,
to see that one.
no,
Um, but we went and we saw Gladiator 2, and it was a movie.
yes.
What was your experience like?
How do you want me to respond to that question?
Just like just generally, sort of like what it was like as a day at the movies, you know.
Oh, Sunday matinee. There were more people in that theater than I thought there'd be because I saw it the second weekend it was in theaters and people were
Oh,
there.
interesting.
Yeah.
I had a very different experience. I was like, you know, me and my girlfriend went, and there was literally a sign on the door to the theater being like, "If you're here to see Wicked, you're in the wrong place." And then we go.
Yeah.
The theater has like 8 people in it, 3 of whom were just having full volume conversations. Like not even whispering. They were just like, why don't you sit there and I'll sit here? The movie's like 15 minutes in. Like the theater's empty. You can sit wherever you want. No, I don't want popcorn. And then like as we're walking home after, we pass the theater that was playing Wicked, and there is like a line around the block of people to see it. And I'm just like, well, this is why our podcast isn't very successful. We're
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay. Oh, there's something really popular happening. Well, what if we made an episode about the stupid, weird thing? You know?
Yeah.
But so we saw Gladiator 2 because we stan Ridley Scott. We stan a weird
Yeah.
guy doing
And I
weird
did
things.
text you. I was asking if I could sing during the if you think it would be appropriate for me to sing during the film. I know that's been the
Yeah.
discourse in Wicked, but like, cause like there's that banger closing song that's like,
Hmm.
whoa, that one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're gonna have to play it again. And I was like, do you think I could sing along with that without offending the crowd?
What if you had sung along to like the weird Gladiator 2 songs that are just kind of like, whoa, while the
Yeah,
guy's just like looking at some marble,
yeah. I
you
think we've
know?
earned that. So Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Gladiator 2.
So what happens in this movie, Ethan? It's been so long. It's been 24 years.
Yeah,
What are the
wow.
gladiators up to?
Well, we don't start with I guess you gotta get the gladiators. The whole point of the gladiator films, which I'm just gonna assume this is a genre now, is you gotta get the gladiators to the Colosseum, right?
Hmm.
And you can do this in different ways. Maybe they're a commander with an army, they get betrayed. In this case,
Yeah.
they are what seemingly as far as we know, just a random dude who
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
yeah, just
In
chilling
Numidia.
in Numidia with his wife.
But a
Um,
conspicuously white dude, we should say. Conspicuously white dude. Or
yeah,
maybe he looks a little Spanish. I'm not sure.
yeah,
His name is
definitely.
Paul Mezcal.
And the Romans are coming. So this is like the very first. It's almost like a reverse of the first film where they're in like Gaul and they're like, we're gonna do a battle, and you're seeing it from the Romans' perspective. I guess this time you're like, oh, we hear the Romans are coming and we're all getting ready for that battle. And so they do. Let's we don't need to, parse this out, but the Romans come, they kill everybody.
They kill Paul Mezcal's wife.
Exactly, which she's shooting arrows at the Romans and the Roman general who's
Who are
charging
led
from
by
the front
Pedro
lines.
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, so he points. He's like, "Hey, y'all need to kill her. She's shooting arrows at us." And so the Romans do shoot her with an arrow, which
Yeah, which
seems
is that is
like,
how Roman warfare worked. Is no one knew who to kill until the general told them to.
yeah,
You know, they're
yeah, yeah.
it's
But
like
like,
it's like StarCraft where you have to give the commands.
yeah, and that really what it's all about because the Romans require more Vespian gas, which in this case is glory. And so they're expanding in all these directions. And Pedro Pascal's like, this is, I hate all doing all this war. But you have these two co-emperors that are running things, Geta and Caracalla. Did I pronounce either of those correctly?
I want to. I think it's
Geta,
Gata, and I want to say like
Caracalla.
Caracalla.
Yeah, there it is. They are running things. But anyway, yeah. So Paul Mescal's character is captured. He's going to Rome, clearly. But then Pedro
Man, Rome
Pascal
shit
also.
is so fake. I'm looking at like I'm opening these wiki articles for these emperors and their death dates and birth dates. It's like 188 to 215. Like those aren't real years. Like years are four numbers. Like I'm not gonna be fooled by
uh,
these fake three number years. I might become a guy who says that the Roman emperor was fake. Like that could be a cool like sundowning act for me as like
yeah.
a as an academic. I just start like as I get forced out of the profession, I just start writing treatises about how Rome was fake. I mean, there are people who write shit like there is shit
Yeah.
like that,
Well,
right?
there's
Like
like
the guy
the
who
that
says,
like essentially the what like the 700s didn't exist or something like
yeah,
that.
like there's people like that who say like these like
Yeah.
large sections of time were sort of made up.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
and
got
that's
to
why
be
we have roads, which is
exactly.
they're trying to incept us into wanting roads.
It must have been. I mean, it must have been freaky though. Like, imagine you're like Augustus, and like you see the years are counting down to zero. You must be like, "Oh shit,
You're like, what the fuck is
something,
gonna happen?
and then you're like, "Huh? Doesn't seem like a whole lot happened."
Yeah, and then you're like, well, it's the year zero, and there's this guy that like says he's the son of God. Anyway, we better kill him. No, he didn't die in the year zero. Sorry, my
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyhow, Gladiator 2. We're in Rome.
no one
There's these
talks about all the other
co-emperors.
people who were born in the year zero. You know?
That's yeah. You've really there's something to think about there, perhaps.
Yeah, some of whom I'm sure were very successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about great man of history, the Bible, case in point. So
Bible's one of my
we
favorite men.
yeah, yep, my favorite and only. And
It's
so
crazy
we
that everyone in this movie went to hell because they didn't even have the opportunity
yeah.
to know the message of Christ.
Well, ignorance is no excuse. It's no excuse.
Yeah.
Uh couldn't they go to like purgatory?
It depends
technically.
on I think it depends on the denomination.
Yeah, that's just the rules. Sorry. Um, so
The Mormons will baptize you posthumously.
do you think Marcus Aurelius has a planet?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'm prepared to say on the pod. I don't believe in God. But if God is real, like God in the sense of the sort of like monotheistic Abrahamic religions God,
Yeah.
if God is real, of all the denominations, I sure hope the Mormons are right. Because then I've still got a chance. Like in like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
500 years they could be like, hey, we're like there's newspaper articles coming out about how they're baptizing the Mormons are baptizing Stale Cooper, and people are like, don't baptize Stale Cooper, he doesn't like Ocean Vuong. Like,
Yeah. Well, because it's like if the Egyptians were right, like at this point, you feel like the Egyptians' gods have to be like, this isn't working, guys. It's like no no one's balancing that feather correctly. Everyone's getting eaten by the giant crocodile.
oh yeah, he
No,
hasn't teared that scale in fucking like
yeah,
20,000 years.
yeah. You need to do a reset. Do a soft reboot maybe. Gladiator 2. Okay, we're doing this. Okay,
All right.
I mean, he becomes a gladiator. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like and it is revealed that he. Okay, I'll pause before it's revealed that he. I'll get to that. He's bought by Denzel Washington's
Denzel
character.
Washington. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
just
we should
let's just.
commit to
I
we are
think
not
so.
calling any of these
Yeah,
characters by their names. He is
yeah,
Denzel Washington.
yeah. Which he unapologetically is in this film. So let's just go with that. He's bought by Denzel
God bless
Washington
him.
as a
God,
gladiator.
can
Absolutely.
can we just like brief sidebar?
Yeah.
Just God bless Denzel Washington.
Yes, him and only him.
It's just like I don't get make any movie and just be like just go up to Denzel Washington and just be like, what do you want to do? How many days and and then
Yeah.
write the movie around whatever he wants to be doing.
Yeah. I think the day that it'll all be over is the day that he's in the MCU.
I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't think so either.
There's
And
nothing in it for him.
there's a
There's
lot of
nothing in
things
it
I
for
didn't
him.
think would happen, Devin, but you know
It's
what?
true. It's true. Okay, I'm going to go on the record right now. So tell me if you want to take this bet. I think Denzel Washington is more likely to be elected to political office than be in the MCU.
I'll take you on that bet.
All right. I think probably neither of those things is going to
They're
happen.
both zero. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when he dies, we get to celebrate that nobody lost.
Yeah. So,
Just
all right.
explaining to my hopefully then wife that I have to I have to pay $3,000 to fly to rural Washington to celebrate the fact that Denzel
Yeah.
Washington died before being in the
Yeah,
MCU.
like very confusing when the notification pops up on your phone. You're like, "Fuck yeah, Denzel
Yeah, yeah.
Washington is dead."
Wait, so what are we betting on this?
Oh, well, now you're getting serious. I don't know. I
I
don't know.
think I think like $50 to a leftist charity. If Denzel goes in the MCU, or I'll pay, and then if he's elected to office, and I mean it has to be an election, it's not an appointment.
Yeah, yeah,
But if
yeah,
he's elected to office, you
yeah.
pay.
Can I do you one better? The
Yes.
loser buys the other Bob Dylan's Heaven's Door whiskey bottle.
But I did that for you. Did you not like it?
No, I did. I do like it. So you can give me another one.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh, good,
yeah,
good, 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 good.
yeah.
All
No,
right.
we can donate, but it
Well,
doesn't matter
how
if it's
about
not happening.
how about a
Um,
matching donation? You buy loser buys the other a bottle of Bob Dylan's Heaven Door whiskey and makes a matching donation for the cost of the bottle to a leftist charity of the winner's choice.
Sounds great. Can do. Okay.
Tomorrow we're gonna find out that Denzel's like the villain in Blade or something. Like,
Yeah. So, continuing with the plot, you've got your cast of characters and things are kind of set up for what's going to be happening. You've got the co-emperors played by Joseph Quinn and Fred Hetchinger. Hetchinger? Somehow, however you pronounce that. And they like doing the violence. You've got Pedro Pascal, who does not like doing the violence. He's like, hey, what if we had a Pax Romana?
There's always these reasonable people that no one listens. If people just listened to the people with the right ideas
Yeah.
who are bad at politics, you know.
Yeah. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to do a coup. I'm going to do a coup in a few days, and then we're going to have
And I'm
peace
going
in
to tell
Rome.
everybody. I'm going to
Everyone's
bring
gonna know.
every senator into the room at the same time and be like, how do you guys all feel about a coup? Does everyone agree? And they're all like, yeah, sure. like, like, dude, you gotta, it's like classic organizing 101, right? You need to you don't call the vote until you know you're gonna win.
Yeah, you need a whip. He needed like an LBJ in this situation before he was
Oh
going
my
in with
God.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So he's going to do a coup, and he's married to Lucilla, played by Connie
From the
Nielsen
first movie.
from the first movie, who is, as we all know,
Marcus
Lucius's.
Aurelius's daughter, right?
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius's daughter fucked Maximus, gave birth to Lucius, who, that he was the secret lover that gave birth to Lucius, and no one knows except Connie and eventually Maximus.
Yeah, does that happen in the first one? Because I did not remember it at all.
It does. Well, yes. She essentially
Okay,
is
yeah.
like, actually, he's your child. But no one else knows.
In the first movie.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that wasn't just like a retcon. Okay, I was just making
No,
sure
no,
because I didn't rewatch the first one. It's crazy that does he fuck her after his wife is dead?
no.
It must have been before
Oh.
Russell Crowe. So Russell Crowe cheated on his wife, is what I'm trying to say,
Wait.
right?
Oh, wait, I didn't actually put that. I mean, it was a different culture, Devin.
I'm just saying, like he's so
point.
great.
Good point.
He's
Yeah,
out
huh.
there, not exactly faithful, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Interesting.
If
Um,
if I was a general in the Roman Empire, I would not have cheated on my wife, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh. So they're
Yeah.
doing their thing.
Now I may have murdered hundreds of people in cold blood, but I would not have
Yeah.
cheated on my wife.
Yeah. And you've got Denzel Washington, who is like, I'm gonna do a power play of my own. So he's coming onto the scene in Rome and trying to do that. So you've got all the players here. So Paul Mescal, who's been bought by Denzel Washington, does some gladiator fighting in front of the emperors. He wins. He quotes some Greek poetry.
Oh no, my dude. I'm sorry, I got to correct. It's the Aeneid. It's not Greek.
Oh, was it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's like the founding epic poem of Rome. It's
I
like
know
the
what it is. I
Roman
just don't have
sequel
it
to
memorized.
Homer.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that the. Did you know the quote as he was saying it?
I didn't know the quote. I'm just saying it's not Greek. It's Latin because it's like the.
I just didn't remember that it was the Aeneid. I thought he said it
it's
was.
No, it's Aeneid. It's the Aeneid. It's
He
Virgil.
said I thought. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yes. Cool.
And so because that's the whole thing. It's like Virgil was like the original fan fiction. It was like because you had the Iliad, and then Virgil was like, oh yeah, and this is also all just like prequels to Rome. And so you have the whole thing where like one guy from the Iliad ends up founding Rome. So I think I'm not trying to be like, ugh. I just like think it's important to note.
I just wasn't listening. Is my thing. So
Man, someone didn't learn from Megalopolis. Like, we need to have a conversation about the future, which is kind of like having a conversation about the past, if you think about it.
yeah, I'm actually surprised they didn't quote Emerson in the poetry line.
He's just like, it just like cuts to Paul Mescal, and he's like, I celebrate myself and sing myself, Walt Whitman. And everyone's like, man, pretty good.
Wow.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
one of the classics.
Yeah. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow.
So he says this line,
I saw the
and
best minds of my generation ruined by whatever the fuck. No, sorry.
yes, indeed. It gets back to Connie Nielsen that this gladiator said this line. She's like, no one would possibly know that line except for my son. So she finds out that Pedro Pascal is
Pedro
Lucius.
Mescal.
I mean,
Paul Mescal.
it's a lot of P names. We've got Paul, we've got Pedro.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Peter Mensa plays Jagurtha.
Wait
A
a
lot of
minute. Peter
names.
Mensa played Jagurtha?
Jagurtha. Did you know Jagurtha was played by Peter Mensa?
I
Um,
did not. I did
so
not.
anyhow, so she realized like, wow, Paul Mescal is actually Lucius, my son. So she goes to see him. He's not into that. He doesn't like her because I guess she did technically abandon him and like send him away since she thought his life was in danger. So yeah, these things are all happening. And in between this, Paul Mescal, who we now know as Lucius from the first film, all grown up, big boy, went to Africa, got shipped back as a gladiator. All roads lead to Rome. You know what they say, Devin? You ever hear that one?
I have
Um,
heard about that.
yep. And
And
although I guess he takes a boat there.
it doesn't seem fair because I keep not ending up there. That's just where I'm trying to get. And
I mean, lead to. You're not. It's, eventually, you will get there in this life or the next.
oh, good,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
What if my life turns into Gladiator, the original script for Gladiator 2, but I just have to
Christ
keep
killer.
doing Dumber and Dumber like podcasts?
We can only hope. So I don't know if there are any specific plot points. We haven't talked about the actual gladiator fights. So if you have any thoughts about like
Yeah, they're
baboon or
fights.
rhinoceros or
I didn't like
water
that he
with
killed a
sharks.
baboon. I didn't like that he killed a
Hmm.
baboon.
Did it help that it was like bad CGI?
It did help because it didn't look realistic. I also like
Okay.
that they were like, "Don't worry, these baboons have been drugged to make clear that baboons aren't like evil, but we drugged the baboons."
I thought it was interesting. As soon as he kills that baboon, the rest of the baboons are just gone. I guess they give up the fight. It's like it's not over, guys. There's another six baboons.
Yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't make much spatial sense, but like they're
Yeah,
fine, you know. Like
it is what it
it's
is.
what you're expecting.
Yeah. The biggest losers are the ones who were all pissed off because you had like sharks in the Colosseum in the water battle scene. It's like shut the fuck up. Grow up. Grow up.
Did they do that? Because I know they did do the water thing, but
Yeah,
it
that was
seems
like
like getting sharks there.
like okay, so you remember the fucking Iliad poem, but
Yeah.
uh you don't remember the gratuitous repeated shots of the sharks swimming through the water and eating everybody that falls in the water?
Oh no, no, I know. I'm saying like, did that really happen?
Oh no, no, definitely not. I
Because
mean,
they did
how would you get a
actually
shark?
fill,
How would you get a shark there?
but
What
they
would
did
you do?
actually fill the Colosseums with water. Like
They
that
did do
did
that,
happen.
yes. Yeah,
So
I
I
think
was
so.
like, I don't know about the sharks, like
Yeah.
because it's also here's the spoiler alert. I don't know how they filled the Colosseums with water. So I'm like, if they could do that,
Yeah.
maybe they could get a couple sharks over. I don't,
That
you
is a
know.
fair point. How the fuck did they
Um,
do that? Maybe they didn't. Who knows? Who could say? Don't come to our podcast
well,
for
Rome,
facts.
as we know, Rome isn't real,
That's
so
true. That's
like Rome
true.
didn't
Yeah.
actually happen.
Yep. Yep.
There's a certain type of guy who loves to just point at something the Romans did and just be like, and we still don't know how to do that. Like modern scientists can't. Modern scientists can't figure out how to transport a shark to Rome.
Yeah. I have a dude I know from Central PA voted for Trump, and he would always talk about how the way he would describe it is he'd say the pyramids are so precise that not even modern science can replicate their precision. Now you may have some questions after I say that statement, Devin. Like precise to what In what way?
It's just listen. It's
The one,
telemetry. It's telemetry. Don't
yeah,
ask
mental
questions.
telemetry. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if
oh,
you think
it's
about it,
yeah.
everything is precise. Do you know what I mean? Like everything just is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
We live in hell.
Yeah,
Can't get that
precisely.
through enough. Yeah. So fuck. Okay. Anything else before we get to the
No,
major
it's
plot
time.
points?
It's time
Yeah.
for the big reveal.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Paul Mescal's like, hey, I want to kill this general because he told the soldiers under him to kill my wife, who was an active combatant against him while they were attacking this city. So he like
Whoa.
hates the general.
Yeah.
I don't mean to
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we can't use active combatant given how that apparently means anybody these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say she was an active combatant in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, she was literally putting arrows at dudes.
But they did invade her city,
They
and she
also,
was a
yeah, yeah.
farmer before that.
Yeah. But
So
also, like, I mean, if in this way, the film is almost like this utopian callback to a time that it imagines when you did have to actually be shooting arrows at people to be an active combatant, right? Whereas now,
yeah,
if you were like trying to like get bread for your family, you're essentially an active
right.
combatant.
Well, and the thing with this film is it also, I think, has this undercurrent that even despite all that, it's considered bad that she died. You know, the general feels
Mhm.
bad about it. Of course, Paul Mescal doesn't like that it happened. Uh,
There is like, yeah, because we should just talk about what this movie looks like, right? Because it's like when she dies, and like it's like, and he kind of maybe is gonna die, but it's like there's these weird sort of like almost black and white, but it's not like sepia tone either, you know, but it's kind of
yeah,
like almost purpley scenes of like the afterworld or whatever, the afterlife.
yeah,
And like everyone, but it's just like when the hot woman dies, everybody is just like, oh, but we're honorable Romans. I can't believe we had to do this, you know? Which is like,
yeah.
this is part of like just not to get us too off the rails, but the entire ideology of these gladiator movies, right?
Yeah.
Is just this idea that not even just that society used to have honor or whatever, but even just the idea that honor is possible.
Well,
You
let's
know?
let's
Like,
unpack that after we
right.
finish because I think that's a big part of this film is like
Mhm.
that idea. But God, I wish now I wish I hadn't have used the word active combatant. um. So
She's an active player character. She's a non NPC.
yeah, yeah. I'm just imagining like the New York Times writing an op-ed about like one of the Roman soldiers that was killed during this siege that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
entirely
yeah,
unprovoked.
yeah, yeah,
An innocent little Roman boy. He loved to grow tomatoes in his farm. And
yeah, yeah,
then on a recent trip to Numidia, he was horrifically attacked unprovoked.
yeah.
Um
Roman general involved shooting.
No, it would be something like arrow pierces heart of
Yeah,
female Numidian.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Female Numidian killed by arrow as Roman general looks on.
in vicinity of Roman general.
In
That's it.
vicinity, there you go. In
Yeah.
vicinity of Roman general. Like the Roman general's giving his fucking report, and he's like, "Yes, so she turned 60 degrees to her left and reached into her left pocket
Oh.
to produce the arrow, which was then being drawn into the bow as I turned to my fellow Romans and told them to kill her immediately."
My fellow Romans, we live in hell. Cannot stress this enough, folks. Cannot stress it enough.
You keep saying that, but there's so much to be thankful for in this our Thanksgiving episode. I'm thankful for your friendship. I'm
Mm,
thankful for Gladiator 2.
mm.
That's
You
about
know, I'm
it.
thankful for Gladiator 2 as well, Devin. uh, anyways, the scene is set.
Paul Mezcal He's Maximus's son. He wants to kill the general.
And Denzel Washington's like, I can get you the general if you just be a gladiator, I guess. Is that the
Yeah,
deal?
he's like, just be a gladiator and trust me, essentially.
Yeah,
And at
I'll
the
give it.
time,
Yeah.
initially, I think you're kind of like, this guy's just kind of, you don't really realize the extent of his involvement. I think you think initially he's just like, listen, just be a good gladiator and things will come to you. But he's a
Yeah.
schemer as well. He has
He
eyes
is,
on the
yes.
throne. Yeah.
Yep. So, now that Lucilla knows that Lucius is alive, she's like, hey, Pedro Pascal, can you rescue my son? You gotta do something. I think it's funny that they don't rescue him right away. Like, there's another gladiator scene after that, but they're like, okay, but
After
now,
tomorrow. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Which is like, in real life, it's highly likely he dies, right?
yeah, I
But
know. So, but they're like, okay, we're gonna hatch a rescue scheme, but the co-emperors found out about this, so Pedro Pascal gets captured, and they're like, you're a traitor. You were gonna betray us, and blah blah blah. I guess this is very similar to the first film, right? Where there's also a rescue plot that is,
yeah, they're really
the
into
Praetorian
like
Guard
the films are
stops.
both into like there's gonna be a plot and then the plot like doesn't work or like
Hmm.
because it's like
Yeah.
you know like you can't control your you have bad infosec
But Devin,
essentially.
what did I say? I said the gladiator films are all about how do you get the gladiators to the Colosseum. And
Yes.
this is Gladiator 2, and we get a second gladiator now entering the Colosseum. Pedro Pascal is they gladiator him, Devin. They say,
Yep.
it would be, hey, we could kill him, but what we could also do is kill him by gladiatoring him.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
they do that.
Yeah. It's like when they made Arnold Schwarzenegger take over The Apprentice.
Oh, oh, ugh. And yeah, so essentially, Pedro Pascal and Paul Mescal fight. Pedro's like, I know who you are now. You're the son of the perfect man. I don't want to hurt you. And eventually, Paul Mescal's like, oh, yo, you're right. We're chill. We're chill now. But then a bunch of the archers, the co-emperors are like, kill him. And so the bunch of the Praetorian Guard archers shoot him comically with like
Hmm.
30 arrows. It just keeps
Yeah.
coming. Boom, boom.
Yeah. Although this
Yeah.
is one of the things I think is kind of interesting about the movie, right? Is it's like whenever the emperors are doing the thumb thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like they don't actually have a choice, right? Because they have to do what the crowd
Mm.
wants,
Right.
is sort of the idea. But when they don't do what the crowd wants, things start to go awry.
Yeah. And they keep yelling, the gods have spoken, but the crowd's like, fuck that shit.
We don't really believe
Yeah.
in God.
Like guys,
We're not
like
actual
guys.
Romans. We're kind of like
Let's
a
be real here.
secular society's imagination of what Romans would be. So, that's not really going to cut it.
Yeah, we're not gonna blindly like believe that the emperor is God incarnate. We're just we don't like that you're hurting the gladiator that we just met and have decided is our friend. So there's a mob essentially because like, hey, they just killed the general who 2 days ago they're like, that's the cool guy. And the city's up in flames. And this is where I think you really get the Denzel scheming goes to the next level
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
playing the co-emperors off of each other. This is, I think, the
Yeah, there's like a
first.
monkey suddenly becomes important.
This is where you get the first indication that the Emperor Caracalla has like syphilis, um,
Yeah. Hmm.
and is it's
He's
like
kind of
spread to his
crazy. He's
brain,
kind of
and
crazy. Yeah.
but he's like infantile crazy, like he has
Hmm.
these spurts of just like, um,
Tantrums, essentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's having one of those, and Denzel Washington comes in and is like, your brother's gonna betray you. Says spoken
And like,
just
like,
like that.
like the next room, he's talking to
Yeah, he
Data, and he's like, "Anyway, I'll go check on him. Don't worry." And then he goes to like the next room, and he's like, "You should kill your brother."
yeah, yeah.
Like,
What you could do is kill your brother. And so he's like, yeah, I will. You know what? That's a good idea. And so he essentially does. He's holding the knife there, like, maybe I'm gonna do it. And Joseph Quinn, the other emperor's like, don't do it. Calm down. You're having an episode. Which real like therapeutic speak for first century Rome. It's like, this is just a mental episode, friend. You need to control your emotions and be with me in this space. Um, but it doesn't work because Denzel's like, no, 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 like pushes the blade essentially into
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Quinn's throat, decapitates him. So now we got one emperor. Like you said, there's a monkey involved that is nominated as
Something
proconsul.
like that. Yeah.
Um, Now we only got one gladiator now. It's Gladiator 2, but one of the gladiators is has been gladiatored. So we've just got Paul Mescal. You know what? Actually, I take that back because another Gladiator 2 enters, which is Lucilla as the
Hmm.
sacrificial. We're gonna kill her because she was part of the betrayal with her husband,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be Paul Mescal versus the Praetorian Guard. But then there's a revolt of the gladiators, and they overwhelm the Praetorian Guard to try and save Lucilla. Then Lucilla's hit by an arrow from Denzel Washington after he also kills the last remaining Emperor guy.
Yeah,
And
with like a nail to the ear,
yeah,
all
that's
happening
that
very
was
fast.
yeah, it's a lot of
Um,
chaos, and then he hears like, "Hey, this other army. Oh, we totally forgot about this. The army that it's Pedro Pascal's army that's been sitting in Portia, the port
mhm.
city. They rushed the ring that Lucilla had given to Paul Mescal, and then he gives to this one Indian character who's like a medicine guy, but he's like, "Hey,
Yeah,
can you
he's
do
like a
me a favor?"
doctor.
Yeah. He's like, "Can you do me a favor? Can you deliver this ring? This guy will know what you mean. Tell him to do a coup because I'm actually
Is he
I'm
Indian? Is the character Indian?
I thought I thought he was.
Because the actor is Swedish and
Oh.
born to uh, Ugandan refugees.
So like Spanish. If we got a Spanish situation. I mean, I think he played an Indian in the
Okay,
film.
no, I just didn't clock if he was supposed. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. It does. You can cut all this. It does say from India. It's just like the colorblind casting, so to speak, is so extreme that I was like,
Uh,
you know,
yeah. Anyways,
I was
these
so glad that Ravi came out of it alive. Can I just say? Because I
Yeah,
was
you
just like,
really
it
didn't think he
seemed like
would.
the film was going in this direction of like, because they're all like, Ravi's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I have like a fucking Italian wife. My kids have blue eyes. It's like whatever. I'm a doctor. I come do the doctors to the gladiators because I think it's important because I used to be a gladiator.
Yeah.
And then like Paul Mescal's like, I would ask you to put yourself at great risk for something greater than yourself. And Ravi's like, okay, I'll do that. And you're like, okay, so Ravi's gonna die. And then
Yeah.
they're just like, oh no, Ravi's fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
I actually kind of like that message. Just like, no, you actually can do, because I feel like
Yeah.
so many
Don't be
films
a
have the
don't
message of like, anytime you do anything for anyone else, you will be killed. You know?
that is the default message in American media. If you put yourself
Yeah.
out on the line for anyone, you will die.
Yeah, yeah.
It may be
So
for
I
a
like
good
that it's
cause,
kind
but
of
you
just
will
like
die.
he's moderately inconvenienced. He like
Yeah.
loses a day of work, maybe. He had to
Yeah.
cash in some
Yeah.
sick time.
Yep. So Denzel Washington flees. The Praetorian Guard is marching outside the city to meet this other army that's Pedro Pascal's army that got the ring that says that, hey, the grandson of Marcus Aurelius is here. And they're just like, oh, well, if you say so, I guess we're going to march our army. And so they meet at the gates of Rome, these two armies, and also these two dudes, Denzel Washington and Paul Mescal. They fight. Doesn't seem particularly fair because Denzel Washington is like 70 years old.
And like not a seasoned gladiator.
Yeah, yeah, it's just
Okay,
like
so
a dude.
to be fair, Paul Mescal is very tired because he's been gladiatoring
Yeah,
for
yeah.
hours, right? So
Mhm.
it's not a question of whether Ethan you could kick Lamar Jackson's ass. It's a question of whether you could kick Lamar Jackson's ass after a 3-hour football game. Now,
Yeah.
you couldn't, you would lose, but maybe for a split second, you know, you'd
Yeah.
be like a little tired. You know.
But Paul Mescal wins pretty handily. They go back and forth a little bit, but like cuts off Denzel Washington's hand. This whole it was actually very funny because my wife who I was watching this with, as Denzel's like falling into the water and all this blood's going, she's like, he's gonna jump up. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think he's dead. I think this is over. And it
Man,
was.
I have
Yeah.
to be honest, like I can't anytime there's a scene like that where a guy gets his hand cut off, even
Yeah.
though it's like within the rhythms of the scene, you know he's about to die. My brain just always goes to like imagining that guy's brain being like, okay, so I don't have a hand. Well, that'll be that'll be fine. I'll learn to play the piano instead of the guitar. You know, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck.
It's like, oh, this is gonna
Like
be
the
a big inconvenience.
rationalization. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
like, I'll get a prosthetic, like, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
no, you're just dead. This is the
No.
precursor to you being dead. Which
Yep.
there's actually
Yep.
probably an interesting disability studies reading of
Yeah.
that kind of tendency in film, right? Where you get like disabled immediately before death because it's like, oh, well, like we're imagining the disability as like a
Not in
little
Star
death.
Wars. Not in
You know,
Star Wars.
so. Mhm.
Um.
Yeah, but then
So,
that's the other way of doing it, right? Where you
yeah,
like
that's the
get just like a
counterexample.
robot thing where it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
now you're even better. But
Yeah. And
I'm
then
gonna do
Paul
it. I'm
Mes-
gonna do an article that compares Star Wars and Gladiator 2.
Yeah. What could be the title of that?
Give me a hand.
Yeah, give me a hand. I was gonna say lending a helping hand. Give me a
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. hmm
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your hand. Something like that, maybe.
hand me
Mm.
your years of scholarly experience to get me out of this conundrum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, then Paul Mescal gives a big speech to both armies that we'll chat about in a moment, where he's like, "Hey, what if we were all chill? Hey, what if we didn't fight each other and like what if we worked
hmm
together? What if we formed a grand coalition? Harris Democrats, Liz Cheney Republicans. Imagine the Rome that
Yeah.
we could build." And they're all like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we'll do that."
Yeah, and like in real life, 100% of them have the same opinion based on how convincing the speech was.
Yeah, and they can all hear the speech from
Yeah, they
far
can all
away.
hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about that, not to be like a, because I know it's just a movie. I'm
I
not,
know, I
but
know. Yeah.
I was the entire time thinking of just like all the dudes in like the back
It's
that
like,
are just
what's
sort of like,
happening?
like, like they are actually probably living the best life because the speech they're imagining is so much more inspiring.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will say though, I actually found like there's that line he keeps saying where like, what is it? It's like something like there, death is nothing to fear because where we are, death is not,
yeah. He says that at the
or
beginning.
something.
Didn't
And then
work out. He says
yeah,
it again with the gladiators. Yeah,
I actually found that weirdly kind of affecting. Like, this is the thing that's kind of the problem with as much as I want to shit on the Marcus Aurelius dudes, every once in a while there's like a little piece of that like hits you and you're like,
but
that
this
is
this
kind of
is
a
the that's the
cool point.
dope thing
But
about that line is like it's not one of those speeches that you'd hear in like Lord of the Rings. It's like,
yeah,
hey, if there's death happening, it ain't happening here. Don't worry about it. It's the sort of speech like they
yeah,
would actually give to like, don't worry about dying. You're thinking about dying, don't worry about it. It's not happening. It's not gonna
yeah.
happen.
Well, and if it happens, you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
Right? That's sort of the thing. The
Think
second
about
death
it. Come
actually
on.
happens, you're not there. Like Maurice Blanchot would have loved Gladiator 2.
This is not death. Um
Me as like my hand's been cut off and my guts are spilling into the river.
This
Hey
is not
man,
a
I'm
death.
alive. This
Yeah.
doesn't seem like death to me.
And I guess the last scene is he goes into the Coliseum. They have the weird sky effect, like at the end of the first Gladiator film. He's like, "Father, guide me." He's like, "Gonna need your help, Dad." That's
Yeah,
something he
yeah.
should have said, but In so many
Russell
words, is what he
Crowe,
said.
will you agree to be in this film?
Nope. So that's Gladiator
Well,
Part
and we get
Two.
the wheat. We get the wheat, right?
Okay, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. That's the
We end
last
with the
scene.
wheat because it's like
Yeah.
these guys just want to touch wheat, and people keep making them
True.
be in war,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's Gladiator 2.
Yeah. The Italian experience. They
He's
just want
he's.
to touch wheat and they keep putting them in war.
I just want to touch my wheat. That's
Oh,
actually
the
how the
wheat.
Romans spoke. They were
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Want to touch my wheat? Then send me to the war."
All right, Devin, it took us a few hours, but we have gone through the plot of Gladiator
The
2 and
intricate plot of Gladiator
yeah.
2.
And just
But this is the
various
power
things
of
we had
broad
on our
plots,
minds.
right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
power of a
yeah, yeah.
broad plot is that it lets you think about your life.
Yeah.
If this plot was too complicated, we would have been lost in all the chicanery, the
Wow. And
malarkey, as it were.
yeah, oof, man, I don't want to necessarily think about my life or our lives in the present or future right now, but thanks for that. And I don't think I've said this before, but we do live in hell. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I this was going to be sort of a we used to call these "Why Not Let's Talk About It" episodes, if you recall.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The kind of like the quick the film is there and then we talk about it. I guess we don't do that anymore, uh, but we wouldn't have games for those because I didn't have time to do a game and like the film just came out and so I'm watching it. And I wasn't gonna do a game for this episode. I'm fucking busy. It's the end of the semester, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of shit to do. But then I did throw something together that's very haphazard. I think it'll work though. We'll see
Kind
though.
of like they were throwing together these, these gladiatorial battles. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like,
Wow. That yeah. I mean, I don't know. They looks like they put a lot of work into
it's
this.
actually a lot.
So
There was a lot
I'm gonna
of.
tell you,
They were
this
intricately
game
planned. Like we're getting all these like replies from a guy with a Marcus Aurelius statue, like as an avatar. Like
yeah.
months and months of preparation
Yeah,
went
they're
into it.
calling us degenerates. Listen, this game is not going to be the Christ killer of games, but it is going to be a game that I felt we had to do because the name for our game is Latin. The
Of
name for our game
course.
is, of course, Vox Populi. So, Devin, I shared this with you a few days ago when this came out, before we had seen the film. Presumably, Elon Musk, I don't know how he finds the time because he's a CEO of so many companies and is working hard to make us a multi-planet species, to
Yes.
extend the light of humanity into the stars. And I think because we live in a meritocracy, he's the richest person in the world. So he's like the most productive, at least
Yeah.
living person in the world right now, right?
And presumably of all time, because
Yeah.
there's only more and more productivity over time.
Right. There yeah, and I mean maybe Mansa Musa takes a claim for it, but it's at least in the modern era, he's the most productive person that has ever existed. And incredible that he's able to find time to watch films, probably didn't. But I guess he watched Gladiator 2 or didn't. But he responded to a tweet that said my Gladiator 2 review, and it was, if you ever seen the meme of it's like a horse and the first part of the horse is really
Oh yeah,
well
yeah,
crafted.
the drawing of the horse. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and then it gets worse as it goes along. And so the really good part is visual design. And then music is pretty good. And then the acting is pretty shit. And then script is like a scribble. And it says My Gladiator 2 review, and that's what it says. So you can imagine from top to bottom, good to bad, it's visual design, music, then acting, then script. He retweeted that. I don't know what he calls retweets now, but he retweeted that and said, "Woke lies kill art."
Yeah. We were
Which
on the way to
we
having
agree,
the greatest film of all time, and then woke lies derailed it.
Yeah. Which, you and I we agree
Visual
that woke
design.
liking do kill art. Art was good,
Liking
but
the
then woke
visual
lies
design
killed
of
it.
Gladiator 2 that
Yeah.
much. That's interesting.
The baboon, Devin. And it's like, because it's what I've always said. When we talk, I cut this out normally from the recording,
Mhm.
from what we record. But like, art used to be really good before woke killed it. When art
Yes.
wasn't woke. So
American
he makes
Beauty.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And so he was really speaking to something here. Now, it got a lot of pushback from, as you might imagine, the woke media, but also some fans, some support around whether or not Gladiator 2 is woke. So that's sort of the question, is Gladiator 2 woke or not?
Yes.
Um, and yeah, the answer is yes. Like you just said. So I did my research and I Googled Gladiator 2 woke Twitter. And my idea was, well, the people who feel that this film is woke, who are, of course, correct, why do they think this film is woke? Now,
Hmm.
again, because Twitter is so awash with leftist liberals, you know? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So,
everywhere. They're just like,
yeah.
I get to the For You tab,
Yeah.
and I'm just overwhelmed
Well,
with
you can't even
it.
view it because it asks you to identify your pronouns before you can even view the For You page.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to find neo-Nazis on Twitter, and I just
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
There's so much as a young man, as a young impressionable man
Yeah.
who
I've actually
just wants to find unbiased neo-Nazi
Yeah,
opinions. There's
exactly.
so much in between me and those.
And
And
it's like
that
it's
is
really
wokeness.
it speaks to the state of our times. It's going to end soon. It's going to end soon, but it speaks to the state of our current times, the state of our current times, that I had to actually create a macro on my keyboard that simply says pronouns in bio, and like I have to use
Mm-hmm.
that like 80 90 times a day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I say all of this to say I looked through a lot of the immediate Google results, which were like, it's not woke because people are uncritical. People don't listen to Elon because they're wrong. But I looked at the first result on Google search under Gladiator 2 woke Twitter that was speaking to the nuance of the ways in which the film is and is not woke.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a person, I'm not going to say their name because this person should remain nameless. But I'll tell you from their profile, this is a Daily Caller alum. This person has bylines in The Federalist, The Blaze, Breitbart, NRO, Newsweek, The Hill, etc. And most importantly, this person is on Team Reality. And this person
Oh God.
had some comments about Gladiator. And so the question is, can you identify what this person said was the good and the bad about Gladiator? And this is a centrist, Devin. They're very nuanced. So I'll give you the context that they're not just saying this film is woke, because again, they're a intellectual. So what they say is, saw Gladiator 2 last night, and while not as good as the original, it didn't suck. It was also not, quote, woke in any strict senses. Some good and bad from the woke and non-woke standpoint. And then this person has a list of the good and the bad. And I will tell you there are three good, which is strange because several of them read as bad, but there are three good things about this film from the woke and non-woke standpoint, and there are four bad. And so the game for you, Devin, is can you identify either the good or the bad about this film from, again, this Daily Caller alum? What is woke about Gladiator and what is not woke about it? And I'm going to tell you, just so you know how I'm going to grade this. If
Mm-hmm.
you say like he talks about a car, but his actual comment talks about a Cybertruck, you're not getting points. So
Jesus. Wait, so am
the
I just like, do I have like any, do I get hints for each one, or am I just like having to come up with seven ideas off the dome at once?
yeah, that's
How
that's
is
a
this
fair
working?
point. That's a fair point, Devin. How about I give you some hints? Okay.
Yeah, like can we go through one at a time and I get like
Okay.
some
You
kind
think
of
this is going to help you. You think it is, but it is actually going to hurt you. So let's do that. Let's do this.
honestly, if I just had to name seven things that happen in Gladiator 2, I don't know if I could. So whatever you could do to help me along, I would
This
appreciate.
person couldn't either. But, anyways, let's go into it. Let's start with the good. The first thing this person says is good about this film is there's a type of person that they say is in this film, but is not like a centerpiece of this film, and that's why it's good.
Women of color.
Wrong. I'm gonna give you two more chances here.
Uh, so it's like a type of person
I don't know
that
how else I
is
can
in the
say this.
film.
Just a sort of person that is in the film, but is backgrounded, so it's okay.
Wait, this is from the woke or the not woke perspective?
This is quote the good of the film. And the good is that this person is there, but only in the background.
Yeah, but is the perspective of this attribution of good a person that is anti woke or woke?
This is someone who, might I remind you, is a Daily Caller alum
Uh
who has
huh.
written for the Federalist, The Blaze, Breitbart, NRO, Newsweek, and The Hill, etc., and is on Team Reality.
Yeah, okay. So I
You
was
better not
thinking
be
like,
Googling their bio right now.
no, I'm just bringing up Gladiator 2, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just I'm just bringing that up because my thought was like, okay, they're like, oh, it's gonna because the impetus of the film in some ways is that like the black woman is killed, right? So I'd imagine if you're doing like an anti-woke screed, that's the thing
Right.
you would be like, you get mad about, but then you're
Yeah.
happy because it doesn't actually end up mattering that
And yet I
much.
said no. And yet I said
Uh,
that's not actually the case. So,
and that's not what this person's talking
yeah,
about.
way too much of an actual reading of the film, unfortunately.
Yeah, so is it just like the Senate, like politics or
That's
something? Like,
two and wrong. You have one more guess.
um, Lucia, like just like the woman, they brought back the woman, but don't worry, you don't
Right.
have to see her that much.
Right. No, three and wrong. Here's what they said.
Okay, this will
I,
this will be helpful though because
yeah,
I am
this
so
set the
trying to
scene. Set the
understand what this
scene.
person's
Yeah.
ideology is.
Yeah. Yes, there were slur for transgender people in the movie backdrop, but they were exactly where slur for transgender people would have been back then, surrounding decadent, tyrannical, mentally ill Roman emperors. So,
Huh.
about 10 layers to unpack there about what team reality thinks is either,
Yeah.
you know,
Because
both.
it's like I didn't even notice that any particular kinds of people were there or not there at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
So I hope that sets the scene of just how shit slime of a person this reviewer is. So now you know. Let's go to
Yeah.
the
Well, can we
second.
say though? I think we should note this. Like, if
Yeah,
you want to talk about someone who's there and not there, it's and I
Palestinian actress.
apologize if I say it wrong. Yeah, but May Kalamawi,
Yeah,
uh, the Palestinian actress who, by all accounts, was going to be like a character in this film, and there was like
yeah,
one shot of her, and it's just that she, like, you just see a shot of her sort of like covering her breasts as if she had like just had sex with Denzel Washington, right, or something like
yeah,
that. That's the kind of actual suppression that was
yeah.
happening.
Are there any transgender actors in this film? I don't think
I don't
so.
think so.
I
I
think
think he
so. This
just means.
is
I think transgender is here being used as sort of a stand-in for like queer, because like
probably,
there's like the
probably.
party scenes where there's just sort of like vaguely queer sort of stuff
Yeah.
going on. I don't.
Hey,
I
Devin,
legitimately don't know.
we live in hell. So there's our first one. Let's go to the second. This is a legitimate thing that this person liked about the film instead of just being an underhanded way to use a slur. This is something that the writer, I'm doing this off the cusp because I had not planned this game at all. This is something that the writer of this tweet, this is something that the person who made this tweet, I'm not going to call him a writer. This is something that this dipshit liked about the protagonists.
About the protagonists,
Yeah, with an
liked
S, like
about them,
multiple. Yeah,
that they're like strong men.
I'll give it to you, Devin. They said the male protagonists were strong, family oriented characters who tried to do what they felt was morally right.
Yeah, and that does seem like that is, to be fair to this horrible person, that is kind of the ideology of the movie, right? Is like we need the right kind of like
Mm-hmm.
heteronormative strong man
Yeah.
to get us out of this decadence, right? Because like
Yeah.
Denzel Washington is kind of queer coded. There's queer shit happening in the senatorial parties, right? And
Yeah.
that is like very decadent. And it's like a strong man born from the penis of Russell Crowe can take us out of this,
Yep.
And his tragedy is just that he wanted to be monogamous and they had to kill his wife.
Ugh. Exactly. There's one other good thing this person said. You're one out of two. And they essentially distill the theme of the film into one phrase. And so, can you speak to what that phrase may be or what, like, the general idea of that phrase? What do you think this person thought the theme, like, what this film was
Hmm.
basically about, is?
Something about like to the fittest everything, right? We have these systems and these arcane
Right.
political systems that are getting in the way of just strong warrior kings who are amongst us and are asking to be our leaders, but like they have to get
Yeah.
elected and that's
Yeah.
annoying, right? Like something like that.
Yeah. Gonna say wrong. I'm not saying that like it's not touching any of the themes this person said, but not
Mhm.
close enough.
All right. Is it around the family at all? Like the specific, like, kind of identity of who is kind of
No.
is it about like kind of
Do
dialogue and norms or something stupid like that? Or like
you think that's what this person would presume the main theme to be
I don't
around
know. Yeah,
dialogue
I
and
guess not.
norms?
I just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't read fucking the Federalist, so like I don't have well, I
Yeah,
don't really have
I know.
that clear of an idea of exactly what their shit is. Is it like it's like political red tape? Is it about like bureaucracy?
Not
Like that kind of
exactly.
thing?
Not exactly, but closer. I'll give you one more guess.
Okay, so it's closer, it's like red tape, it's things getting in the way of the strong man. I don't know, man. There shouldn't be child labor laws. like
Very much the op. Oh, yeah, actually, sort of like that, actually. But not close enough. I'm gonna tell you what they said. They said, as others have said, the film was basically, quote, make Rome great again, end quote. The
Oh,
good
okay.
guys
Uh-huh,
were
uh-huh.
good and the bad guys were bad. That's what they thought the film was about. Make Rome great again. Which I can see as a stupid person why they would think that that is the central theme of this
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I see where that's coming from.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you were
Yeah,
getting
fair
there
enough.
with
Fair
like the like
enough.
oh bureaucracy like yeah. Um
Uh-huh. Yeah, drain the swamp, drain the Colosseum.
yeah, there was a dream that was Rome. Um and now we're gonna switch gears. All right, Devin, you ready for the bad?
Apparently not, but I'm going to give him my best shot.
Probably not. And again, remember what I said. If you say he drove a car and he actually drove a Cybertruck, I'm not giving you points.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay?
fair enough. Like, I actually will be thrilled to lose the game that's like, do you understand what the Federalist guy likes and doesn't like? The fact
Yeah.
that I just can't even, the fact that I'm just like, what is this
The
worldview? I don't
fuck?
understand it.
Yeah.
I think speaks very highly of me.
Yeah. True. And I think the way to start with this is I'm not going to tell you any of these four. I'd like you to just guess one of the four things this person said was bad about this film.
It's like wokeified Rome. It's like there's like fucking kind of, you know, the emperors are sort of like incestuous and weird,
Mm.
like fucking you know, uh it the film implies that like a former slave like Denzel Washington
Hmm.
could like conspire to take over Rome. That's unrealistic, right? It's,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, where's our realism?
Yeah.
Uh
Can I give you a because you're getting closer. You see
okay,
that
yeah.
racism dial that's at 1 right now? I need you to turn it up to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this film
So there would
bad, Devin?
okay, so there would never be there just never be a black person in that position,
Okay,
right? Like
great.
that's like the
Okay.
it's
So,
unrealistic that
yes. Uh-huh. So, Devin, you hit the nail on the head. All four of the bad have to deal with the fact that this film has black people in it. Now I'd like you to try and discern what are the four specific points that this person makes, all of which, again, all of which essentially boil down to there are black people in this film.
okay, so one is that like Macronus is actually like Northern African and would have been much like wouldn't really have been black in like the modern sense, and he's being played by like Denzel Washington, uh,
Okay.
you know, who's like a sub-Saharan African man, descended man. Is that one of them?
I'm going to give you this was the first point they made, which was the bad. They said, in their efforts to be, quote, inclusive, they ended up blackwashing darker skinned but not black Northern Africans who would have actually been a part of the Roman Empire. So I will give you a point there. So I think you're currently standing at what, 2 out of 4? Trust me on this.
I
So
think
you're at
so.
two
Yeah.
out of four. Okay, what else? Can you think of other
Um.
racist reasons they didn't like this film?
Wait. So wait. But you said it was specifically anti-black racism,
Um,
or is
yes,
it just racism?
it's anti-black racism, and I think it's fair to tell you the remaining three
Yeah.
all harp on this idea of anti-black racism. Yeah.
Is it something about just like new media would have never even like stood a chance? Like it's unrealistic to think like new media wouldn't have just been crushed immediately or something like that, something along those lines.
That's a great that's a great assumption. They don't actually mention that at all. They don't mention because I think in their mind, North Africa, there were white people there. Those were all white
Okay,
people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I don't think that registered for them of like they wouldn't have they're like, no, actually they would have because they were white. So,
Mm.
um, yeah,
Okay. Is it because I kind of feel like it's like a lot of the ones I'm thinking of feel like they're redundant with the one you already gave me, but is
yeah,
it like
sure.
the like there wouldn't have been black gladiators because there's like black gladiators, right?
Mm,
Like he has like co-gladiators that are played by black actors.
yep. I'm trying to I'm parsing all the various racist things this guy said. I'm going to give it to you for this one. Here's what they said. This is actually their last point. Seeing random blacks, spoiler alert, we know what this person's perspective is.
Jesus
Seeing
fucking
random
Christ.
blacks in the Senate, really? Question mark, question mark. And Coliseum crowds just felt like the movie producers checking boxes for no other reason than to appease the DEI crowd. And here's the step back. I have zero issues with black people in historical dramas as long as it would have made some sense from an actual historical context. In fact, this was quite well done in the first movie, just not here. In their defense, they
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least made efforts to explain Washington's character being where he was, given who he was. What? I don't know what they mean by that.
Because there's a line about him being like, I was a slave and I like fought myself out,
No.
I think is what they're
Okay.
talking about.
So I'll give it to you.
So
I'll
they're
give it
like,
to you
given
for
that you
that.
ahistoric, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it is gonna be a motherfucker when these people realize that like contemporary ideas of race did not
Yeah.
exist in
Hey, that's our future
like the
majority of the
BC
Supreme
period.
Court, Devin. Can you have some fucking respect? Have some goddamn
Man,
respect for
I
the
I am I
institution at
am
least. Listen,
stretching
Devin,
myself. I just
Devin, Devin,
unfortunately,
Devin, Devin. I know
yeah.
you may not respect the people, but you need to respect the institution. And so our future Supreme Court that is made up of this piece of shit and five other people like him, you need to respect anything they say because of the institution, okay? I've said my part. Can you figure out the
Got
other
it.
two things?
Got it. So it's very hard for me because it's hard for me to think of like variations on racism, you know?
It's so deep. It's
Can
like
you give
Dante's
me
Inferno
can
and
you give
like
me
okay.
anything resembling a hint for the other two?
Yeah. Okay.
Is
So
there
for the
anything to do
last
with his wife?
no. I don't think this person even registered like that
Because I'm
I
just thinking, like, who
yeah.
were the major? Man, how fucked up do you have to be? Because I got to be honest with you, Ethan. I didn't even notice that there were like black senators. I
I
didn't
didn't see
not
it
notice
either.
that there were
I
black
didn't see it
senators,
either.
but I didn't
Were
go
people in
and
the
I didn't
crowd like
show up at the
what?
like.
Who like
Yeah,
you fucking
I
kidding
wasn't
me?
like looking at the crowds and being like
Yeah.
picking out racial, like
But
taking my
but
calipers out.
this may be informative because like this person was so focused on the race, they may not have even noticed that Pedro Pascal's wife was a woman. Like they may have just been so focused on like there's a black guy in Numidia in North Africa that like it didn't they were like that it totally subsided all of the sexist comments they otherwise would have had. So there's two things
Yeah,
remaining
yeah.
and one of them you've really hit close to it speaks to one specific character and that's all I'll say. I don't know what else to say
Is it
with it.
is it is it Ravi? Is it Ravi?
No.
Is it
You have to you're thinking too
Jagurtha?
you are man,
Denzel.
it's Denzel, man. It's obviously Denzel. It's the black person that this stupid person
Yeah, well,
recognized.
I said about how like Denzel would never have like the idea that Denzel would have never been like capable
Yeah, okay.
of
So I'm just
doing what
gonna
he
give
does in
you
this
this other one
film.
because you've sort like two of his points are essentially the same. He also said,
Hmm.
though he is a great actor who did a solid job here, excuse me, he fucking owned every goddamn scene he sashayed into. So this a solid job. He was like the actor of this film. But though he is a great actor who did a solid job here, Denzel Washington's character just wasn't plausible especially because of the heights he managed to reach as a former slave.
I said that. I said that.
You essentially said, so I'm going to give you that point. It's black people were in the Roman Empire. They just didn't have your modern conception of race, dude. I don't know what to tell you. These people
Also,
existed.
I forgot that when we go to see Gladiator 2, we're going to see like here's the description of the things that were possible and weren't possible under the Roman,
Yeah. So that was he was
yeah.
very
It's
upset.
fucking
Like you
dumb
had
as
Roman
fuck.
emperors who were
Absolutely
from
dumb as
Africa,
fuck.
who were
Yeah.
from fucking Syria. These were not people
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
as a racist dipshit would consider white. They were Roman emperors because they just didn't think about race the way that your stupid racist brain thinks of it now.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's a social construct. It didn't exist in the same way. Like it's not like it's like when your world is like does he realize that the Roman Empire didn't know about America?
no,
Like
absolutely, absolutely not,
I feel like
absolutely
he
not.
literally thinks the Roman Empire is like, well, given that we are the white structure that will inform like the fucking like United States like
Yeah,
Federalist
yeah,
Republic or whatever, we it's that level of anachronism.
yeah. So he's racist. There's one remaining.
Okay, yeah,
Can you get
I
it?
think I should get that point. Yeah, because I did say
You
that
got
one.
so
Yeah.
you get those 2 points. So you've gotten three out of the four of the
Got it.
bad. Can you get the fourth? Which I don't know what to tell you other than that, like, hopefully you've realized at this point it's all sort of the same answer, but this particular gripe
Mm-hmm.
has to do with how can I say this without revealing the answer? With movement. I'll say that.
With movement.
Yeah.
Is it movement of like a specific character or
No.
movement? What does that mean?
Why did you become Joe Biden? What does it mean? Movement. We've been a country of movers. Listen here, Jack.
Is there something with like does this have to do with is this the movement of characters? Does this have to do with people's bodies?
Eh. I mean, like
Like
sort
does it
of,
have
but
to do with
I
the
like
armies?
no.
Okay. Movement. I have no idea. Just tell us. I
Okay.
apologize to the listeners. Just tell it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the racist thought about
Yeah.
movement that this
Well,
guy
get
has.
ready.
I apologize.
Get ready. Here it is. Sub-Saharan Africans would have rarely made it over the desert to northern Africa, much less to the halls of power in the Roman Empire. It's never
So
happened.
this
You've
is
never
the
had
problem,
black
right? Because
people
it's like
out.
I feel like I already said that essentially,
I
right? So
know.
it's
That's what
like,
I said.
okay, we're
It's
coming
so
up with a
hard.
new way of
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. And that's so I'm not going to give it to you because I think we need to respect
Fair
how
enough. Fair
multifaceted this
enough.
person's
Yeah.
very
How
singular
uniquely
racist is.
racist this
Yeah.
person is. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? His name is Scott
Yeah.
Moorfield. I'm going to just let it be known. That's what his name is.
Scott
He's
Moorfield.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, he's verified on Twitter or X, the everything platform. Um
Yeah.
and
I have an unrelated
yeah.
question,
Yeah.
Ethan. I have a completely unrelated question.
Mhm.
And it has nothing to do with Scott Moorfield. How do you feel about like the Canadian legalization of assisted suicide?
So here's the thing. I have a lot of moral quandaries about it. Like, can you have legal assisted suicide in a capitalist system? And there's a lot of ways we can unpack like whether that can possibly be the case. But on the flip side, should Scott Moorfield be allowed to engage in assisted suicide? I'm unequivocally yes. You know, so it's like it's a moral
Yeah.
dilemma for me. Like I grapple with those two
Hmm.
sides of what this issue entails. What about you?
I grapple with them every day. I grapple with them every day. And I'm forced to recognize that the only way for me to acknowledge Scott Moorfield's ideals and to live them is to acknowledge that Scott Moorfield should be allowed legally to commit suicide,
So maybe this is the compromise. We should pass a
according to
bill.
his own ideals.
We should pass a bill that mandates the assisted suicide of Scott Moorfield. Is that fair? That seems like a fair compromise, right?
Right. Wait. So I've got an idea. There's going to be a bill that is going to mandate for a government funded, because this is also a job creation program.
Oh,
It
good. That's
is
all that
a
matters.
government funded and government a state job employed
Okay.
hotline
Oh.
that, and it exists for one purpose, which is for if Scott Moorfield wants to call and find out if he should engage in assisted suicide, it will tell him yes or no. And I'm not going to tell you what they're going to say, but I will say that it's the Scott Moorfield assisted suicide hotline, and it's the smash bill.
Honestly, any amount of my taxpayer money that goes towards that is well worth it. We need to re-engage with the social contract, and the social contract is all about the Scott Moorfield assisted suicide hotline.
Assisted suicide hotline.
Yeah,
Smash, baby.
smash baby. And that, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, is Vox Populi.
So I've got some bad news. We've been sued by Scott Moorfield, but we're going to deal with that later.
Yeah.
Let's just very briefly, because we've gone on for quite a bit, hit some big picture ideas with this movie.
Yeah.
So Ethan, you had some ideas about like the monologues in this movie, and like thinking back to, we had a recent episode about Megalopolis, right? Which is also trading in the aesthetics of ancient Rome, and also has black actors, which is problematic.
Sure.
But what were you thinking about that?
I thought it was so interesting because it seemed like there were a few things that I saw as parallels between this and Megalopolis. First, it starts with just text introduction. Like, this was like, hey, 16 years after Maximus did his thing, nothing happened. That was pointless. Don't worry about it. And Megalopolis also had, I guess it was, I don't know if it was at the beginning, but at the end was like, here's how things are, right? Didn't they have like some titles at various points?
Yeah, well, there's the Pledge of Allegiance, right?
Oh yeah, I pledge to the
uh,
planet.
uh,
Christ,
yeah,
so
the
like we can
Pledge to the
compare
Planet
that.
kind of
We
thing.
can also compare,
Yeah,
like, there was
yeah,
like monologue was an important element of both films, and so
yeah, yeah,
in Megalopolis, it was this idea of, I'm creating this world and you should all be thankful for it. Like, hey, think about how things can be good. Think on that and do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that was essentially the idea. I'm curious about what your thoughts are about the monologues in this film, because a lot of them, and I'd like to speak more in a moment about just the idea of like, there is a dream that is Rome, which I think is a theme that is
Yeah,
tackled very
yeah.
differently in this versus the first film. But at the very least, there's monologues throughout. And a lot of the monologues I feel in Gladiator 2 are like, there is a dream that is Rome is an illusion. It's all about power. It's all about like this struggle for power and violence.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so there's this monologue that Paul Mescal's character has at the end, where he essentially is saying how the one quote is like, "Let no more blood be spilled in the name of tyranny," and this idea of like, hey. I think the text I sent to you, Devin, was it's words, not swords. Hey, let's stop doing the fighting, and let's just like make a cool, chill Rome that everyone gets a say. We're sort of like a republic again, and we're all gonna be happy. And that's like where the film just like ends. Which, spoiler alert, Rome didn't become a republic again. Like in the first century AD. Like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because and I'll say this, Megalopolis, Coppola thought of that as like this is like new Rome. So he's making all these statements almost as if like America is this new Rome, this almost romanticized
Mm.
version of New Rome, versus Ridley Scott, who's literally putting his romanticized, but like putting his film in. Ridley Scott is putting his film in the setting of Rome, but
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
monologuing. What do you make of these different monologues?
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting because like the first thing I want to talk about, I think, is the shared ideology of the two films, right? Because we've got two films that are by these quintessential boomer directors who have weirdly similarly weird careers, right? Where
Mm,
early in their careers they make some of the greatest films of all time, right? Like Francis Ford Coppola makes Godfather, The Conversation, blah
Godfather
blah blah.
3. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Um, it was kind of like a traveling Wilburys situation where the second one was called three.
Yeah.
And then, Ridley Scott makes Alien and Blade Runner, right?
Hmm.
And then they kind of become very weird after that. They are not Scorsese, right? They're
Yep.
not
Mm.
these consistent, even arty directors, right? They're just sort of like these weird journeymen that do like weird shit and then
Yeah.
come out despite all odds with a final statement, right? That they seem to think is going to validate them. And so in a way, the entirety of Gladiator 2 is Ridley Scott's monologue, you know?
Mm.
And the
Hmm.
entirety of Megalopolis is Francis Ford Coppola's monologue. And the
Yeah.
idea is just like, oh, cinema has decayed. We have ended up in this MCU, and we always say that on this pod, but when we say MCU, we're just kind of using that as a metonym for like the general tendencies of cinema currently,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Yeah.
just Marvel, right? But the
No.
franchisification of cinema, the risk mitigation of cinema, and how that leads to all these things.
Yeah. And the rebuttal to that is not complaining about the fact that that is the reality, like that the MCU exists. That can't be your
Mhm.
antithesis to the MCU, is just complaining about the MCU. Otherwise, you're entirely subservient to
Yeah.
the MCU.
And that is the problem, right? Because both of
Yeah.
these films, I think if you could just give a good enough speech, it would change things, right? And like metafictionally, that's like if you just made a good enough movie, right? If just enough people it reminds me of people being like the night before Super Tuesday when everyone was like, well, Liz Warren, like, why is Liz Warren staying in and everyone else has dropped out? And then like the Liz Warren stands that would get on Twitter and be like, Liz Warren is going to lose this election unless everyone votes for her tomorrow, and that could happen. And it's like, okay, like on a
Yeah.
level of physics that could happen, right? Where it's like a similar thing where it's like if everyone went and saw Gladiator 2 instead of Wicked, I
Yeah.
guess in Ridley Scott's mind that would mean something, but also Gladiator 2 is a fucking sequel. So it's like it's a flawed ideology all the way down. But I
Yeah.
think the films are they both think that persuasive rhetoric has political utility.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is kind of a residual kind of Obama presidency thing. And it's like something that the Democrats, for example, can't seem to get around their heads is that like we live in a like multimedia, multi-screen social media world where like the truth doesn't matter. What matters is the image, right? And it's not the speech, it's how it looks, right? And the director can kind of try to square that because he's also filming the speech,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an imaginary solution, right? It's an
Yeah.
imaginary solution, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, and this is maybe the slight distinction in that Coppola has a very American slant, I feel, on this. At least Ridley Scott has maybe like a more English cynicism,
Yeah.
where even when that final speech is happening, I'm like, yeah, but that's not gonna happen. We've spent the whole film with various mini monologues being like the dream, and I'd love to chat with you about like this idea of the dream of Rome. You repeatedly get this idea that like it's not real and it has never been real.
Yeah.
And so when he's giving that speech at the end, I had
Hmm.
this feeling in the back of my mind of like, he's giving this speech. This is all politics. This is all bluster, but it's not going to actually change the material conditions of like the rot at the heart of what's happening
Hmm.
here. So he can give
Yeah.
in the way
Yeah.
that in Megalopolis, the idea is no, actually the giving of the monologue is transformative. In this film, to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, he gives that monologue at the end, but I'm like, yeah, but you're not going to fix it. We know how this goes. You're not
Mm.
going to there's not going to be a republic. There's not going to be like this age where everyone is happy and there's no, like we can call it Pax Romana, but like that's an era of destruction and death for most of what we consider the Roman Empire. It's just it feels hunky dory if
Exactly.
you
Right.
live in Rome. So like it's like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
the way the film builds up to that monologue preceding it in Ridley Scott's film in Gladiator 2 to me in a way I like
Hmm.
it devalues that monologue and it says no matter what he's saying here
Yeah.
it's actually
Hmm.
it's a lie. What he's saying is a lie and the way he's saying it perpetuates
Yeah.
this
Yeah. And that this is interesting, right? Because it's like I do think, and it's not that I think like Ridley Scott's films have good politics, right, or something, and
lie.
like
What?
the sense that films like what does it even mean that films have politics, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like the Coppola film, right? I think much more so thinks it has politics, and
Yeah.
I want to contrast the final monologues of Gladiator 2 to both to two monologues, one of which is also in Gladiator 2 and one of which is in another Ridley Scott film.
Wow.
So, we have earlier in Gladiator 2, right? And again, I think speaking towards your point of how Ridley is on some level undercutting what it seems like he's doing, we
Mhm.
have, again, I referenced it before, but that initial speech from Paul Mescal about how, like, wherever we are, death isn't, and, da da da. That I think is the actual ideology of the film. That is the film telling you at the
Mm.
beginning, this is how we see the world, right? Like life is meaningless, right? Like life simply is what exists before death happens, right? And again, it's not that I think that has like a good political program
Yeah,
associated
yeah.
with it, right? But I think that is that melancholic stoicism undercuts whatever the sort of like make Rome make Rome great again shit is, right?
Yeah.
But it also makes me think of another famous Ridley Scott monologue, and I wonder if you're anticipating where I'm going with this. But the Tears in the Rain from the end of
Oh.
Blade Runner, right? Where like, what is life but being essentially a sentient camera that collects a series of fleeting images of beauty, right? And it seems like it's like the happiest anyone ever is in Gladiator 1 or Gladiator 2 is when they think they're dying.
Mm.
And then they get
Mm-hmm.
thrust back into life. And it's like, how dare you do this to me? I have to keep living in this world that has politics. Like, Gladiator wants to live in a world outside of politics, which is to say, it wants to just touch wheat, right? Whereas Megalopolis wants to live in the most political world of all, right? It wants to be like, oh no, I'm solving politics. I'm giving you, if we all just have this conversation about the future, we're going to get through it, whatever. Like Gladiator is trying to opt out, and that is also equally problematic and equally fucked up, but
Sure.
I understand why it's a more appealing vision from 2024, right? To go live in the
Yeah.
sphere as we were, you know,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
not
yeah.
having yet known what is happening.
That is
That is its kind
it's
of
yeah.
ideological resolution in some way, right?
Yeah, because I think it's that line from Gladiator 1, which is if you find yourself alone, riding in the green fields with the sun in your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium and you're already dead. And it's sort of like the only escape from this monstrosity that is Gladiator 1 and now Gladiator 2 is if you die. Like that's how you get out
Yeah.
of this. Oh, I love that. I don't love it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. And that's ultimately why words win out over swords in the film, right?
Words over swords.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Like part of that is sort of the film indexing how it doesn't have the budget to do a big MCU style
Uh-huh.
final battle, but it's also like Ridley Scott's worldview is the opt out, is the get me
Mm.
the fuck out of here. This
Yeah.
is all decadent and decayed, and I think the way he expresses that decadence is fucked up and homophobic and has all sorts of problems to it, right?
Yeah.
But he is the it is the ideology of the guy with the class chip on his shoulder that is like fuck all of these people. Right? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
um
just it's that whole that whole ending scene in Gladiator 2. They've got these two armies and then they're just like, "Okay, cool, good monologue. We're good." One, my feeling given the whole film at that point is not that like, "Oh, good, we resolved this." It's like, "Oh, this isn't actually resolved at all." This is
mhm.
like this is not going to make things better. This is sort of a continuation of the bad things.
Yeah,
Two,
yeah,
it it did, as you were speaking to, it made me think of almost the end of like Monty Python and Search for the Holy Grail, where they ran out of
yes,
money. They ran out of
yes.
money for the final battle, so they're like, "We're gonna have the cops come and just arrest everyone." That's what this ending was. It was the cops coming and arresting everyone, saying like, "Actually, let's return to these random rules that we haven't worried about, but we're gonna pretend are the norm of things." And you've
Yeah,
watched
yeah,
Gladiator 2.
yeah.
You know it's an illusion. You know it's bullshit. So you know that this is a
Hmm.
lie. And so, yeah, maybe it's a cop out from Ridley Scott as a director, but I appreciate it a lot more than Megalopolis, where they're like, hey, thing that is indescribable and I'm not going to talk about, that's the future. Get on board with it. Everyone be chill.
Hmm.
And like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so I
No,
much more appreciate that.
Gladiator 2 is telling you to call the what was his name? Scott Moorfield Assistant Suicide Hotline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
and it's in some ways very reactionary, right? Because it's like fuck it, just like get your fucking wife, and if you can't have your wife,
Mm.
you might as well be dead, right? And then maybe you'll get a second wife or a third, um, but yeah.
it's it's one of the I mean it's a Ridley Scott film. So it's contradictory in a lot of ways, but like it's I'd be curious about your thoughts because one of my favorite things as I was watching this film is they keep referring back to that line from the first film, which is "There's a dream that was Rome." And in the first film, and I remember
Hmm.
this because I was a 12-year-old boy, it was the end of history. Like there is this dream. This is the post history liberal utopia. We have this dream of what we can accomplish,
Hmm.
And that like is such a prevailing
Yeah.
theme in the first film that like we just need to have George W. Bush and he's gonna usher in the new century and this is the dream and we
Hmm.
just need to achieve it. And I appreciate in this film it's Denzel Washington's character primarily, but multiple characters, but especially Denzel Washington's character. That's like there is like this is a lie. There was never a dream that is Rome. That was a fucking
Yeah.
illusion.
And
It's all
yeah.
about
And
power
the
and
idea that there was
violence.
mhm,
Yeah.
that has always been an ideology to unmask violence, right?
Yep. Yep.
And if there is a dream that is Rome, it is not being dreamed by an individual, right? That's sort of that's the
Mm.
problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this idea, right, throughout history that there was a time when just men and I say men specifically, right, were reasonable, right? And decisions were made and then it's all just kind of went to shit. It got wokeified or it got overcomplicated. It got covered in red tape, right? And then all of this blood gets spilled to restore what was a dream that was not actually a prior state. It was something that was never actually actualized,
Yeah.
something that never actually existed.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that is provocative. And I do think, in a weird way, whether they know it or not, the Marcus Aurelius guys who get off on this shit, they're feeling that in some level, right? They're feeling this like, and they can feel somehow that our current world cannot produce the dream that was Rome, but they can't imagine what would actually have to happen to produce it, or to rather redream it to to
Yeah.
to produce an even better dream, right?
Yeah. And it almost gives away the game, and how the film plays out because you have Denzel Washington's character who is very clear of like this was a lie. And also, I was a slave. Look at my marking. This is your grandfather's fucking name etched into my skin. You actually aren't a good
Mm-hmm.
person. The
Yeah, yeah.
various characters here. He's talking to at this point Lucilla. He's like, no, your father branded me as a slave. You're not the good person in this world. And like
Yeah.
as I'm watching, I'm like,
Hmm.
he has a fucking point there. Like everything he's doing, it's like, oh, like he's not just a tyrant. He's also he has a point that is valid in that these other people are not any better. And so he's not a
Hmm.
villain in that regard. And so when like this is not a make Rome great again tale because when you see him fall in that final battle, it's not we made things good. It's like no, this person that had a valid point. He was Henry Kissinger in this point. He was he had that real politique perspective on Rome, but there's a recognition that killing him doesn't invalidate his point, Like the only way that you
Hmm.
sort of stop him is by literally committing violence. And the idea that like that resolves the hypocrisy of there is a dream that is Rome is ludicrous. It doesn't. It to
Yeah.
me just
Yeah.
further substantiates the reality that like no, that is a lie. And what you're doing is perpetuating the lie.
Yeah. And the lie produces people like him, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and and maybe this is going beyond Ridley Scott's vision of the film, but this is why I like it so much more than Megalopolis, even though we talked about how that's like the most true film ever. Um, like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really does. It
Hmm.
says like this is the opposite of Make Rome Great Again. This says that Make Rome Great Again is a fucking lie and anything you do to make it
Yeah.
a reality is grounded in violence and is not sustainable because like hey, maybe not you from what you've said, but we've mostly read the history books. We know what happens with Rome. It doesn't get better. It
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
is all a shit show
Yeah.
until it
Yeah.
collapses.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think it's appropriate that we've done these two films recently here
I
in the
love it.
fall
Yeah.
term,
We could have
in the
never
holidays,
imagined.
right?
We could have
Because I
never
think,
imagined.
imagine you go to Thanksgiving and you're sitting at the Thanksgiving table and you're just like trying to keep a low profile. You just want to get some stuffing. And like, if you can get a single piece of dark meat, you're satisfied, like a sliver, You're not trying to go for a leg or anything. And then you look up, and on one side of the table is Megalopolis, and on the other side of the table is Gladiator 2, right? Like, and it's like these this is the boomer mind trying to resolve its contradictions in all sorts of different ways. And I think, it's Thanksgiving, and I think we should think about what we're thankful for.
Mm,
And I'm thankful that before these two esteemed and largely disreputable filmmakers left this mortal coil, that they left us with these visions of themselves trying to narrate their way out of our reality. And for one of those filmmakers, the solution was, what if there was a moving sidewalk that that you could that you could get on and then
You
have
just don't, you,
7 minutes
Devin.
to
You don't
decide
have
if you're.
you don't have an Emersonian mind, so you don't get it. But
Yeah.
go on.
And then the other one is sort of like, I'm out. It's like
Yeah.
I wash my hands of this,
Yep. Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And neither of those are satisfactory solutions,
No.
but I think they help us think about what are the historical conditions that produce those responses, you know,
Yeah.
that those produce those ideological ways of relating to politics, right?
Yeah.
Like you can literally Gladiator 2 is the ultimate have your cake and eat it too in a way where it's like I am literally like killing the emperor of Rome while saying like what does politics have to do with this?
Yeah. I mean, but I mean
I mean,
that
he's the
is
emperor of Rome for like 5 minutes, but But so, we've been in many ways throughout the last however many hours Gladiator 2's been giving its laurels to us, but shall we give some laurels to Gladiator 2?
yes. Are you talking about putting on the pants? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I was, you know,
Do we put on the pants for these episodes? I don't know that we do.
well, we sometimes do, we usually don't, but
Yeah.
given just the enormity of this occasion, I was
Yeah.
thinking, why don't we see how the crow flies?
Ooh.
And let's hand out some Russell Crowes for
Oh.
for this one. So I'll give you some time to think about this, but what kind of Russell Crows are we? Are we? How is the crow flying? How is the
Wow.
crow flying for Gladiator 2 for you?
That's a great question. I put a lot of thought into this. So I'm going to give this 2000, named after the best year in post history, the final year of post history, we might even say. Um, 2000 Russell Crowe's from Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. And I'm going to tell you why I chose this. Let me tell you why. Because it's sort of like the Napoleonic Wars are happening at this time. Like, this is a bigger deal, but this is something that's happening on literally the other side of the world that everyone is super invested in over there on their one ship. And you might be watching and being like, yeah, okay, but there's like a lot bigger things happening on the other side of the world. But I'm sort of invested right now for this next 2.5 hours with what's happening right here on the other side of the world from the majority of the Napoleonic Wars. And so that's where I feel like Gladiator 2 is that nice distraction from the inevitable world changing collapse of the current order. Um, you get to kind of engage in this distraction that is certainly related to these bigger things that are happening, but is its own little world. So 2000 Russell Crowe's from Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. What about you, Devin?
Yeah, so to me, this film is really like it's a two-hander, right?
Mm.
It's Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal. It's Gata and the other guy. It's Denzel Washington and that weird monkey that also becomes a council at the same time, right? And you can't think about Gladiator 2 without thinking about Gladiator, right? So
Mm.
I actually found myself really liking Gladiator 2, even though I dislike Gladiator in a weird way that makes me reconsider Gladiator, but not want to reconsider Gladiator. And I just kind of find myself circling back and forth. So for me, this is all about the and. And so I'm giving this 4 Russell Crowes, but
Mm.
but kind of like 4.5 or 5, depending how you think about it. So I'm giving this the Russell Crowe from The Quick and The Dead. We see both of those at play in Gladiator 2, I think, right? Many
Yeah.
dead, and also, people are both fast and alive. Um, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we see people, we see masters, obviously, we see slaves, we see commanders, we see emperors.
Yeah.
Uh, the Russell Crowe from Fathers and Daughters, whatever that is. But certainly we see both of those in this film. And of course, the speaking of Greco-Roman civilization, Russell Crowe as Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Wow. Good call.
Maybe the
Good.
worst
Yeah.
movie I've ever seen. Uh,
It's
but
so
then,
bad.
but then, of course, so that's four. But then I've got to give it Russell Crowe as Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator and Gladiator 2, via stock
Ooh.
footage of his
True.
hand touching the wheat.
True.
And if
Yeah.
we are not a half of a man seen from behind touching wheat in what's probably the afterlife, what are we? So
Wow.
I
Wow.
give it those four Russell Crowes and then this phantom half a Russell Crowe that exists between those two movies.
That is an almost flawless score, Devin. Can I push back a little bit?
Yes.
In Gladiator, there's the character of Juba, who's a black Numidian gladiator, who's like one of the main character. He like
Oh
survives
yeah,
till
of
the end.
course. Yeah.
It doesn't
Hmm.
it literally makes no sense that a sub-Saharan African would have been able to be in that place and time, and a character that I associate with and have understand their motivations towards. It literally makes no sense that that would be the case in Gladiator 1, which is clearly a woke film. So I think
Yeah.
that takes
Yeah.
away from your overall assessment. And you should, it's gonna, it's
I
gonna,
think
you're gonna be
I
arrested. You're gonna
appreciate
be
that
arrested.
correction.
Yeah.
I appreciate that correction because of course this is a film in which we have noted Spaniard Russell Crowe playing Maximus the Spaniard, Hispano-Roman general, in which
Yeah.
we have noted Italian Richard Harris playing Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, you know what fucking slaps about the cast list for the original Gladiator on Wikipedia?
What?
It's the way it is formatted is it says Richard Harris as a link, as Marcus Aurelius, no link, parentheses, based on the historical figure Marcus Aurelius link. Like they feel the need to be like, oh no, this is a fictional character, Marcus Aurelius. Um,
Oh, Wikipedia never changed. Never changed.
yeah, yeah. And I'm just glad that people are finally pointing out that we shouldn't have actors playing
Yeah.
ethnicities that they don't possess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, such as Oliver Reed, who's apparently from Wimbledon, London, playing Antonius Proximo, or Derek Jacobi from Essex, England,
Hey,
playing
let's
Senator
hey, let's
Gracchus.
can we give like a brief props because Derek came back for Gladiator 2 and got
Just to be
murdered in the third act. Yeah.
unceremoniously killed.
I know. It's like, yeah,
But like,
sometimes people get
just
yeah.
to be clear, this movie is populated with the Queen's people, right? It
Yeah.
is full and again, these aren't my beliefs or my words, but
Mm.
to the Roman emperors of the time, these would have been lowly barbarians,
Yep.
just
Yep.
like
Yeah.
a nothing people, above Hadrian's wall, just like fucking.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just like I know this episode's been going on long, but let's just really unproblematically, quickly recast uh, Gladiator 2 with racially appropriate actors.
Oh, okay.
So you give me an actor, and then we'll go back and forth.
Oh, I mean, let's just start at the top. Paul Mescal.
Chef Boyardee should have played
Oh, that's flawless.
Paul Mescal.
Yeah, absolutely. With the
Yeah.
hat
So
too.
who
That's
should
not
have?
the hat.
Yeah, yeah. So who should have replaced Pedro Pascal as
Obvious,
General Acacius?
obviously Roberto Benigni.
Acacius.
Obviously
Yeah,
Roberto Benigni.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Who do you think should have more appropriately played Connie Nielsen's character of Lucilla?
Sylvia Berlusconi.
Oh, easy. That's an easy one. Good job.
So who
Yeah.
should have played Macronus instead of the, as we've discussed, very inappropriately cast Denzel Washington?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think the only appropriate actor is, of course, we can say it. We don't have to say it together. I'll just say it. But it's Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of Muammar Gaddafi, who is the only appropriate North African character who could have possibly played that character in this film. So, can we think about we had these co-emperors,
Hmm.
Emperor Gaeta and Caracalla, played by Joseph Quinn and Fred Hettinger. Who do you think should have played the co-emperors, Devin?
I mean, it's just ridiculous because these guys would have never been brothers, you,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So it's very clear to me that Gaeta should have been played by Luciano Pavarotti, and
Mm.
then of course Caracalla should have been played by the great Marxist theorist Antonio Gramsci.
That's just, they're flawless. This is
Yeah,
already like
see,
a five times as better film.
yeah,
So,
and I think we've pretty much covered it, except that of course we're very concerned about the fact that while they did minimize the role of Egyptian Palestinian
mm,
actress May Kalamawi, she
yeah,
is still in the film, and of course
yeah,
that's not really realistic,
yeah.
especially because
Well, it's
uh,
violence. It's violence, frankly.
absolutely, yeah. So of course she should have been played by
Gal Gadot.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Um, so I think just Netflix, whenever you get the streaming rights to Gladiator 2, take our notes,
Yep.
reshoot some of these scenes. Um,
And can I just say, like, if you want to have Gal Gadot play more or all of these characters, like that's also fine.
I would be okay with,
She has
let's
such a
just
range. She has such a range, you know?
wait a minute. What if instead of this, what if, because if you think about it, like movies aren't really appropriate to telling the story of the gladiators because it was really an oral culture. What
Mm.
if we just Gal Gadot just sang at us, like right at the
Oh
screen,
wow. Yeah, like can
you
you
know?
imagine like can you imagine it
Yeah.
being a gladiator?
Imagine
That'd be
all the people killing
Yeah.
in the ring.
If she did that, no one would get angry.
I would definitely not ask Gal Gadot to call the smash line. The Scott Moorhead assisted suicide hotline. I definitely wouldn't ask her to do that. So
Yeah.
anyway, uh,
Yeah.
I think we should wrap up. But I would just like to
Have we
drop.
gone long enough on Gladiator 2? We've gone
I think we've
longer
got
than
long
the
enough on
film.
Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
I would like to drop the bit long enough just to say fuck this film for cutting May Kalamawi's role.
Yeah.
And frankly, if I had realized that beforehand, I maybe wouldn't have paid money to see it. But we talk about shitty movies, but and we do our bits and stuff, but I don't want to not I don't want to make it unclear what we think about that, which is that it's like complete bullshit, and we
Yeah.
give all our solidarity to the Palestinian cause and to May Kalamawi for not being a coward and being outspoken about her support for it.
Yeah. Well, Devin, we live in hell. Happy first post-election episode to you.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
I'm just glad to be breathing non U2 infested sphere circulated air for the first time in a number of weeks. But I wish it was under better circumstances. Oh,
well,
well, thank you, Ethan. Thank you,
yeah.
Ridley Scott. Thank you, Pete Buttigieg. And thank you,
Mm.
listeners, for tuning into Your Tall But I'm Standing in Front of You. Find us on Twitter at Your Tall Pod, on Instagram at the same. Ethan's at Mathasippi. I'm at Sale Cooper. I think we're both on Blue Sky, but I don't know if we check
Don't
it that often.
don't worry about it.
And as always,
There was a dream that was the drain. Ugh.